Chapter 782. No matter what his mood was, or how many things he had yet to complete, what happened on his first day back in Shenzhen made Su Yun feel great. Contacting someone who could help Ruan Qingshuang find her brother, learning that Yi Fala could serve his sentence outside the prison tomorrow, and Lin Gu was being chased by a beautiful stewardess, all of these made Su Yun feel really good. Lin Gu arrived at the parking lot downstairs of the hotel. Without thinking much, he rushed to the KFC fast food restaurant at the address sent by Fong Ye. It wasn't that Lin Gu didn't want to be elegant, but he felt that in a place like KFC with so many people, he wouldn't feel too restrained. Who wouldn't be nervous on their first date? Soon, Lin Gu arrived at the meeting place. It had to be said that some people nowadays had very low quality. Their character could be seen from the parking lot. An Audi A6 was parked with its butt tilted. A car took up 2 parking spaces. This kind of person's character was definitely not good. After parking the car, Lin Gu saw Fong Ye sitting in the restaurant. She was chatting with a man and a woman who bought takeout. It was embarrassing to let a girl wait for a long time. Lin Gu hurried in. Sorry, there was a bit of traffic on the road. Lin Gu walked in front of Fong Ye. After seeing him, Fong Ye's expression seemed to finally show a relieved expression. It was as if he had suddenly appeared like a savior. Fong Ye, you're good. This time, you're not joking with us. You really went on a date with a boy? Standing in front of Fong Ye, the tall girl with a Gucci handbag in her hand said, "Hurry up and introduce him to us. Let us know who is so lucky to be able to chase our Fong Ye." Fong Ye smiled embarrassedly. Wei, don't joke with me anymore. Don't you still have things to do? Hurry up and do your things. I'll treat you to a meal next time. Lin Gu heard that they were misunderstood. Fong Ye didn't explain and didn't say anything. If he didn't give the girl face at this time, then he wouldn't be a man. If it was a misunderstanding, then it was a misunderstanding. If Fong Ye wanted to explain, she would definitely explain. She didn't say anything because she wanted her friend to misunderstand. Don't change the date. Let's do it now. It's my treat. The girl named Wei smiled and said, "Originally, I wanted to go to the riverside with my husband and buy some takeout. Since I met you and your boyfriend, let's eat together." That's a good idea. The man next to Vivian glanced at Lin Gu with a sense of superiority and then sat down with Wei. After sitting down, he put the car key with 4 circles on it on the table. It was unclear whether he did it on purpose or not. This guy's sense of superiority was too full. From head to toe, he was dressed in famous brands. Even his tie cost more than 800 yuan, not to mention the leather shoes that cost 2,000 to 3,000 yuan and the suit that cost more than 6,000 yuan. Obviously, he had the posture of a small middle class. On the other hand, Lin Gu was dressed casually. Although it wasn't cheap, the difference between clothes that cost hundreds of yuan and clothes that cost thousands of yuan was still very obvious. Lin Gu didn't mind meeting Fong Ye's friend and eating together, but he felt from Fong Ye's expression that she didn't seem to want these 2 people to be here. But he didn't know how to say it because of his face. "I'm sorry, today is the first time I have a date with Fong Ye alone. If you don't mind, can you give us some privacy?" Lin Gu didn't know what embarrassment was. He directly asked them to leave. This really made the man and woman on the opposite side lose face. Wei's husband raised the corner of his mouth with some disdain. "I say, brother, this is the first time you invite a girl to dinner, and you come to such a place? Isn't this too embarrassing?" As he spoke, he played with his Audi car key on the table with one hand. "You know, Fong Ye is such a beautiful girl. Not everyone can afford to raise her." Lin Gu sat down and didn't move, but his mouth was tit for tat. "Yes, brother, your wife is also very beautiful. It must be difficult to raise her, right?" "Haha, you don't have to worry about this." Wei's husband said, "Although I am not talented, I can still raise a woman." "Friend, you are dressed very casually. The management system of the company must be lax. I really envy you. Sigh, our company's management is much stricter. May I know where you're working?" A company with strict management must be a big company, and a company with lax management must be a small company. This person's words had a hidden meaning. He just wanted to show that he was better. Lin Gu couldn't tell him that he was a professional assassin, could he? This guy was so scared that he peed his pants. Me, I work in a hotel. Hee, hotel. Shinkai Hotel. Hearing this, the man on the opposite side was obviously more disdainful. He turned back and smiled at Wei Wei, and ignored Lin Gu. Wei Wei glanced at Lin Gu and turned back to Fengya. Fengya, let me tell you, although sometimes you need to find a handsome boyfriend, but the basic requirements can't be lowered. Even if he is not a rich boss, he must have some achievements, right? As your sister, let me remind you that material things are the basic requirement of love. The man next to him sneered twice. Okay, you don't have to say it. Fengya knows it in her heart. It's not easy for a hotel worker to invite her to KFC. It's sincere. Fengya was no longer in a good mood. She and Wei Wei were best friends who grew up together. However, after they grew up, Fengya realized that Wei Wei would secretly compete with her on everything. Just like when it came to finding a boyfriend, Fengya felt that Wei Wei would secretly compete with her. Wei Wei had always been better than her. Her boyfriends were either small bosses or small bosses. Just like now, they had been dating for more than 5 months. This man was a department manager in a company. Although his salary was not high, he drove an Audi A6. Because this company was his father's, it meant that the company would be his sooner or later. So Wei Wei kept calling him husband. In fact, they were not even engaged, let alone married. Because of this, Fengya's mother talked to her a lot. She wanted her to find a boyfriend as soon as possible, and he must be outstanding. Fengya was worried. This life event was not a child's play. She didn't want to use her youth as a bargaining chip in exchange for material things like Wei Wei. She didn't want to see love as a transaction, so she had been holding back before she was moved. But today was different. After seeing Lin Gu, she was moved. Although she knew nothing about Lin Gu, she believed that a person who dared to act bravely in front of the plane hijacking was definitely not a bad person. As long as the character was good and the feeling was right, the rest was not important for Fengya. But in the eyes of her friends, material conditions were the first consideration. This was why Fengya didn't want Wei Wei to interfere with her date with Lin Gu. She didn't want Lin Gu to be uncomfortable because of them. Now, they had shown that they looked down on Lin Gu, which made Fengya very embarrassed. Didn't you also eat KFC? Lin Gu raised his head and said with a ruffian face, "Who said that we can't eat KFC on the first date? What's so shameful about working in a hotel? I think it's good. But you're wearing a suit and a tie, pretending to be a dog. Hee, you're running insurance, right? Well, work hard. As long as you're thick-skinned, you can make money selling insurance. It's a piece of cake to support your family." Pa. The man next to Wei Wei stood up with an unhappy face. "Wei Wei, let's go. I'll take you to eat Japanese food. We'll give them these takeaways." Wei Wei stood up helplessly and looked at Fengya. "Fengya, you have to think about it. I'm not your sister. I didn't remind you. Your happiness in the future is your own choice." Fengya just wanted them to leave quickly so that she could have time to explain to Lin Gu. She didn't want to embarrass Lin Gu. But at this moment, Lin Gu suddenly grabbed Fengya's hand and pulled her up. "Actually, I'm not interested in junk food. Why don't we go to the bar on the 88th floor of the Shinkai Hotel? I'll buy you a drink." The bar on the 88th floor of the Shinkai Hotel was not a place where ordinary rich people could afford to go. It was normal for a bottle of wine to cost more than 100,000 yuan in that kind of place. Wei Wei and her husband, who hadn't been legally registered, were dumbfounded when they heard this. They stared at Lin Gu with their eyes wide open, as if he was bragging too much. Ha! Ha ha! Vivian's husband sneered as he stood up and walked towards the door. He gritted his teeth and decided that he would rather open a bottle of red wine that cost more than $100,000 in order to save face in front of Fengya. He did not believe that he could not suppress this loser's limelight. "Vivian, let's go to Shinkai's bar and have a drink too." Wei Wei knew that her boyfriend wanted to save face. She shook her head helplessly. Fengya, you should persuade your friend. That place is not like an ordinary bar where you can buy 2 bottles of beer for 30 or 50 yuan. Fengya also stared at Lin Gu with her eyes wide open. Although she knew in her heart that Lin Gu could afford to sit in first class, that meant that he was definitely not a waiter in a hotel. However, that didn't mean that he could be so extravagant as to drink more than 100,000 yuan just to save face, right? Lin Gu, we can have 2 glasses of snow top here. I don't like drinking, Fengya said. Fengya, don't be so modest. You know more about red wine than any of us. Wei Wei's husband said, let's go. I have a car. I can give you a ride. Lin Gu shook his head helplessly. I have a car too. After that, Lin Gu pulled Fengya straight to the Porsche Cayenne parked next to the A6. Because the A6 was parked at a slanted angle, the space next to it was very small. Only an Audi F-Egg mini car could fit in it. Lin Gu walked over with Fengya. Wei Wei's husband also walked over to the Audi A6 and said to Lin Gu, is this F-Egg yours? Your parking skills are good. I think I should drive my A6 out first before you start the car. Otherwise, my car will be scratched. The money I need to repair the paint should be enough for your car, right? Lin Gu ignored him and directly stepped over the Audi F-Egg. He opened the door of the Cayenne and invited Fengya, who was at a loss, into the passenger seat. Then he sat in the driver's seat with his head held high. He stepped on the accelerator and left the parking lot in front of KFC with Fengya. Chapter 783. Seeing Fengya leave in such a luxurious car, Vivian felt embarrassed. Humph, she's not as good as she is now, isn't she? He drives a Cayenne, a Porsche Cayenne. Look at you. Isn't it just an Audi A6? Why did you pretend to be so big in front of him? Are you embarrassed now? You've embarrassed me in front of Fengya. Baby, don't be angry. Listen to me. Look at that guy's clothes. Does he look like someone who drives a Cayenne? Vivian's husband said, I'll be frank. This guy is probably the boss's driver. The car belongs to the boss. He just drove it out to pretend. Do you really believe it? Whether he's pretending or not, I've lost face in front of Fengya. How can I get it back? Humph, even if he drives the boss's car, she has the right to say that her boyfriend drives a Cayenne in front of me. My boyfriend drives a lousy A6. The more Vivian said, the angrier she became. The Audi A6 that she was proud of was degraded in front of a high-end luxury car. There was a saying, comparisons are odious. Cars were a means of transportation. Those who had money could buy a better car, and those who didn't have money could buy a cheaper one. Wasn't it just a car? Even if you drove a 7 Series A8 or a new Mercedes-Benz S-Class, it was nothing in front of a Bentley or a Rolls-Royce. Even if all the Bentleys and Rolls-Royces were added together, they couldn't buy a Bugatti sports car. Even if they could afford a Bugatti, there were also rich people who drove Apache helicopters to travel between the beach and the ocean every day. Therefore, there was no end to this competition. Vivian used to think that her A6 was very impressive, but that was because the husbands of her friends were at most at this level. Of course, she couldn't accept the fact that there was someone who beat them in seconds. This was the reason why comparisons were odious. Listen to me. Believe me. Let's follow them now. I guarantee that the guy doesn't even know how to get to the bar on the 88th floor of Shinkai. Vivian's husband said, but we will go. Where will we go? We will drink wine that costs 120,000 yuan a bottle. At that time, you can call Fengya and ask her why she and that kid aren't at the bar. Then, you'll be able to regain your face. Now, Wei Wei was not the only one who wanted to regain her dignity. Her husband also wanted to regain his dignity. Then what are we waiting for? Hurry up and drive. Vivian was in a hurry, but her husband scratched the Audi F-Egg parked next to them. The owner of the car happened to come out and saw it. He had no choice but to pay 500 yuan for nothing. He drove the scratched car straight to Shinkai Hotel. Fengya sat in the car and looked at Lin Gu in surprise. I didn't expect you to be so rich. If I knew you were so rich, I probably wouldn't have asked you out. Why? Lin Gu was stunned for a moment. Didn't you say that you want to thank me? What does this have to do with whether I am rich or not? Do I have to be poor for you to treat me to a glass of shui ding and a sundae? Because we are at different levels. I really don't know how to thank you rich people. Feng Ye said, just like now, I can't afford to treat you to a drink at the bar on the 88th floor of Shinkai. I don't know how to thank you. Lin Gu smiled. You don't have to pay for it, really. Then I don't know how to say it. I just think that you don't have to spend more than 100,000 yuan to open a bottle of wine just to compare with them. It is too wasteful. Feng Ye said, I don't care what others think of me, and I don't care how others compare with me. Lin Gu paused for a moment and said, can't you see that your little sister is stepping on you to show off? You don't care? It really doesn't matter. Feng Ye said, whether you are happy or not, only you will know. There is no need to live to cater to others. It is like the choice between crying in a BMW and laughing behind a bicycle. Some people who lose everything for money may choose to cry in a BMW. I am not that kind of person. I know that life is beautiful only when you are happy. This happiness is not something that money can buy. Lin Gu smiled. He didn't expect Feng Ye to think that way. It doesn't matter if you like it today or not. I've decided to take you to the bar for a drink. Of course, I must say that I am not a money worshipper, nor am I a luxury worshipper. I will take you to the top floor of Shinkai for a drink because I don't have to pay for it. Otherwise, I would be reluctant. More than 100,000 yuan is enough for the living expenses of a few hundred people in a mountain village. Feng Ye stared at Lin Gu with her eyes wide open. She was really confused by Lin Gu. What did he mean? In the end, Feng Ye was taken to the bar on the 88th floor of Shinkai Hotel by Lin Gu. This was the most expensive place to drink in Shenzhen. There was a reason why it was expensive. Who asked this place to have a panoramic view of the entire Shenzhen? Who asked this place to have the most beautiful night view of the metropolis of Shenzhen? Io, Brother Shaolin, what wind blew you up here? Su Yun arranged the matters of the bar for Lu Feng to handle, so Lu Feng would spend a few hours in the bar every night. He also enjoyed being in charge of this place. The feeling of being in a high position made him feel good. Lin Gu smiled embarrassedly. I brought a friend here. He, your girlfriend? Lu Feng smiled. What do you want to drink? Just tell Brother Feng. Brother Feng will prepare it immediately. Lin Gu glanced at Feng Ye. What do you want to drink? Just order. Feng Ye looked at Lin Gu in disbelief. Just order? Aren't you afraid that I will drink until you go bankrupt? Ha ha ha, beauty. It seems that you don't know our brother Shaolin very well. You can just order whatever you want in this place. Lu Feng said, I'm not afraid that you will go bankrupt. I'm just afraid that you won't drink and not give me face. Feng Ye looked at the drink list and finally shook her head. She had never ordered such expensive things in her life. The sky-high price of the wine here was really too expensive. Brother Feng, I think you can just order whatever you want. Lin Gu said, we are not here to drink. We are just chatting. Okay. Lu Feng said, then I will give you a bottle of Persian red wine from the cellar. Haha, ordinary people can't buy it even if they have money. Generally, the quality and taste is 680,000 yuan per bottle. I will give you the best quality. Lu Feng didn't give them a chance to refuse. He directly asked someone to get the wine. At this time, Wei Wei and her husband also came. Obviously, her husband was very surprised. Feng Ye really appeared in this place with this kid to drink. Can he really afford to drink? Are you kidding me? Brother Shaolin, you can find a place to sit. Lu Feng said and went forward to greet the two new guests. Please come in. Lin Gu suddenly smiled. Brother Feng, you don't have to greet us. We know each other. Just sit with us. Wei Wei's husband saw that Lin Gu was so familiar with the supervisor here. He was a little uncertain in his heart. But now, he couldn't lose face. Then let's drink together. We are all friends. I will pay the bill today. This is not necessary. Lin Gu said, you don't have to be so polite. Wei Wei's husband waved his hand generously. In comparison, I don't think it is a burden for me to open a bottle of wine. As soon as he finished speaking, the wine came. Lu Feng took it and personally poured wine for Lin Gu. This is a Persian red wine that has been collected for half a century. Haha, a bottle is equal to an Audi A8. Whoosh. This time, Wei Wei's husband was really crazy. He stared at Lin Gu with his eyes wide open. He thought to himself, is this kid crazy? Drinking wine that is worth millions of yuan. God. He is crazy. Wei Wei couldn't stay calm. Her husband's car was an A6. Now, he had to drink a bottle of wine that was more expensive than an A8. Isn't this killing him? Sorry, I don't like to drink red wine. Wei Wei's husband stood up and said, I will drink something else. Lin Gu said disdainfully, okay, you don't have to pay. Don't be nervous. Your forehead is sweating. Is it necessary? It is just a bottle of wine. You are ruthless. You are good. Wei Wei's husband finally stopped suppressing his frustration. You are rich, okay? But I am not a fool. I will drink a bottle of wine for millions of yuan just to give you face. If you want face, I will give it to you. You pay the bill yourself. Before Wei Wei's husband turned around and left, Lu Feng blocked his way like a door god. What are you shouting for? Do you know where this is? It is not your turn to behave atrociously. Our brother Lin is just drinking a bottle of wine. Does he need to pay the bill? Are you kidding? Chapter 784. Lin Ji's first date could be said to be quite successful. Nice car, good wine, and the company of a beautiful woman. This kind of thing would make anyone excited for a long time. After drinking half a bottle of the priceless red wine, Lin Gu also relaxed a lot in front of Feng Ye. Although Feng Ye was very curious about Lin Gu, she knew how to deal with the problem of politeness, so she didn't ask anything. She just talked to Lin Gu about her family situation, her parents' health, and her work. Feng Ye's family situation was good. She also talked about some things about the airline company, her favorite music, favorite movies, and favorite basketball stars and soccer players. Lin Gu was like a listener most of the time, because he didn't know what to talk about. Talk about how he was scolded when he was young on the island in the Caribbean Sea? Talk about how he survived the crisis on the island when he was 10 years old? How can he complete the mission after he was 18 years old? Oh God, if he finished, he would probably scare the girl away. I've said so much. Are you not going to tell me about yourself? We are friends, so we have to be honest, right? You should be able to see that I asked you out because I like you. Feng Ye finally couldn't help but say it. She always felt that Lin Gu would talk about himself. Compared to talking, Lin Gu seemed to prefer listening. But Feng Ye felt that if they wanted to be in a relationship, they should at least have a basic understanding of each other, right? Lin Gu was silent for dozens of seconds before he finally opened his mouth. I don't know what to say. We are not people from the same world. You were the apple of your parents' eye when you were young. And I am an orphan who can't even remember what my parents looked like. You have a stable job in the airline company, but I am destined to never be like you. Feng Ye, we are not suitable. Feng Ye's expression was a little surprised. She didn't think that Lin Ji's background was so pitiful. A child without parents, the pain in his heart was something that a child from a normal family could never understand. I'm sorry. Feng Ye didn't know what to say for a moment, and the atmosphere at the scene fell into a rather awkward situation. Lin Gu got up and made a decision. It's getting late. I'll send you back. Some things should be decided immediately. Otherwise, it wouldn't be good for anyone if they fell deeper and deeper. Lin Gu believed that Feng Ye was a good girl. She would definitely be able to find her own happiness, and the happiness she needed was something he couldn't give her. Feng Ye was slightly stunned. She wanted to say something, but she didn't. No, you drank. I'll take a taxi. After that, Feng Ye walked to Lu Feng and said, "Manager, can you help him call a designated driver?" Without waiting for Lu Feng to ask about the situation, Feng Ye left directly. Lu Feng looked back blankly at Lin Gu. Lin Gu didn't react. He stared at the half bottle of red wine in front of him without blinking. Lu Feng didn't know how to solve it. He could only hurry up and dial Su Yun's phone number. This matter had to be solved by Brother Yun. Others couldn't solve it. 10 minutes later, Su Yun appeared in the lounge. Seeing the half bottle of Persian red wine, he grinned and said to Lu Feng with heartache, "You're really generous. Isn't it a waste to let him drink this wine? Pigeon has never been a drinker since he was a child. Even if you gave him 10 yuan a bottle of wine, he would still taste the same in his mouth. Didn't we want to give face to our own people?" Lu Feng scratched his head. Who knew that the girl would run away in the end? This bamboo basket to draw water is in vain. I also regret opening this bottle. There are 60 bottles left in the wine cellar. Drinking one bottle is one bottle less. What's the situation? Su Yun sat in front of Lin Gu. He picked up the bottle and poured himself a glass. Anyway, the wine had been opened. It would be a waste if he didn't drink it. Letting Lin Gu drink it would be a waste. It was better to let himself be extravagant. Lin Gu shook his head indifferently. "Nothing. I just don't want to waste her time." "But you've already wasted her time by doing this. Su Yun, do you know what kind of person the girl despises the most? The kind of bastard who breaks into her heart and then runs away. You say, the girl's heart has been opened. How long will it take to close it? A man has to bear this responsibility. What can I give her?" Lin Gu was stunned. He looked at Su Yun puzzledly. "I'm afraid I can't give her anything except making her worry." Su Yun took a sip of wine. "You're right. But if you miss it, you can't even make her worry. If she marries someone she doesn't even bother to worry about, do you think she will be happy? In today's society, there are very few girls whose first impression is not material. Don't be stupid. Brother Yun is right. Since both sides are in love, why bother about trifles?" Lu Feng said, "If you say so, those professional soldiers don't need to marry. Every time they go out on a mission, it's dangerous. Wouldn't the military wives worry about them every day?" Su Yun patted Lin Ji's shoulder. "When you know that someone is worried about you, you will be more careful, more cautious, and know how to cherish yourself. Because at that time, you don't only belong to yourself. Do you understand what I mean?" Lin Gu nodded. "I understand. Brother, I'll go after her now." "Wait, the girl said you can't drink and drive. If you drive after her, won't you lose points for your image?" Lu Feng was quite considerate sometimes. "If you ask me, you should wait for a while. It's not too late for you to call and explain when the girl gets home." "Then how do I explain?" Lin Gu was stunned. He had no experience in chasing girls. Lu Feng shook his head. He couldn't teach him this. His marriage with his wife was introduced by his family. It was more or less arranged by his parents. It was not free love at all. Su Yun pointed downstairs. "I'm afraid you need to ask a woman for advice. Lin Suyin and Qin Warner are in the room." Su Yun looked at his watch. "They must not be asleep at this time. You can ask them for advice. Maybe it'll be settled." Lin Gu ran to the elevator. Su Yun asked Lu Feng to sit down. "This wine can't be wasted. Call Chong and the others to come up and try it." "Okay." Lu Feng nodded and took out his phone. They hadn't had a drink with Su Yun for a long time. Feng Ye had just entered the house when she felt the meaningful smile on her parents' faces. "Phew." Feng Ye's father seemed to be relieved. He muttered to himself, "I thought you wouldn't come back. I was so worried." "You're an antique. What era are we in now?" Feng Ye's mother said, "Your daughter is already so old. Do you still want her to stay at home and never get married?" "I think that young man is quite good." Feng Ye's eyes widened. She looked at her mother and said, Mom, what do you mean? Fengya, didn't you say you were going to thank the young man on the plane? Fengya's father said, your mother and I went out for a walk. We happened to see you at KFC. Haha, I think you met Wei Wei and her boyfriend, right? Fengya's mother said proudly, I'm going to find Wei Wei's mother tomorrow. Let's see if she still dares to show off her sick son-in-law in front of me. I'll let her ask Wei Wei herself. I'll let her know that the son-in-law Fengya found for me drives a Porsche. TSK, TSK, TSK. You're so materialistic and competitive at your age. What's the point? Fengya's father said helplessly. You followed me. Fengya's eyes widened. Dad, how could you let Mom do something like this? If that's the case, I won't be able to keep any secrets from you. Fengya's mother glared. What are you talking about? What do you mean by following you? We just happened to pass by. Really? Fengya didn't believe her mother's words. It was really a coincidence. Fengya's father tried to cover for her. However, as a father, he was obviously worried about his daughter. He asked tentatively, why didn't you eat KFC? Did you go to Xing Kai Hotel? Did he do anything to you? Fengya was speechless. How could this be a coincidence? How could this be called not following her? They even knew where she went, but they still didn't admit to following her. However, when she thought about how her family was worried about her and wanted her own good, she could only shake her head helplessly. Don't think too much. I'm not that kind of person. When we went to Xing Kai, we just sat at the top floor's lounge. There was nothing like what you're thinking. Fengya really had to explain herself. Mom. Especially you, don't think too much. Fengya's mother widened her eyes exaggeratedly. The lounge on the top floor of Xing Kai is said to be very luxurious. The cheapest bottle of wine costs more than 100,000 yuan. He can afford it. What does he do? Fengya, you have to tell me clearly. I'm not that kind of materialistic person. Let's look at his character and family background first. All right, Mom, don't ask any more. Fengya said helplessly, if I tell you that we drank wine that costs more than 1,000,000 yuan, will you be satisfied? That's not what I meant. Fengya's mother was really shocked. How rich was this kid's family to drink wine that cost more than 1,000,000 yuan? However, Fengya directly destroyed her mother's fantasy. But it's impossible between us because we're not the same kind of person. If I knew that he was so rich, I wouldn't have gone on a date with him. I'm not destined to marry into a rich family. Don't think too much about it. After saying that, Fengya got up and went back to her room and locked the door. Fengya's mother was so angry that she huffed and puffed. Stupid girl. Does money have a grudge against you? What's wrong with being rich? When I didn't let you go on a date before, you kept saying that this young man was a good Samaritan and that he must be a good person. Why did you turn against him the moment you found out that he's rich? What kind of temper is this? I really don't know whose side you're on. I'm not on your side. Fengya's father glared at his mother. Can you not worry about the child's matters? Are you her biological father? Do you know how old your daughter is? 26. Fengya's mother said, we're not comparing ourselves to those unmarried women in their 30s. Let me tell you, old Feng, the truly rich definitely prefer young women. Women who are over 25 are getting worse by the day. If we keep waiting, it'll get harder and harder to find one. A few years ago, leftover women were considered to have good taste and magnanimity. They didn't live for men. But it's different now. There are so many leftover women that they don't care about them anymore. Everyone knows that society is more open now. Who knows how many men old leftover women have been with? Do you think that rich men these days are stupid and don't want a young and innocent woman? Fengya's father waved his hand. Forget it, forget it. I have nothing to say to you. Chapter 785. The next morning, Su Yun went out with Qin Wan to pick up Yifala. When Lu Hong saw Su Yun again, he was very respectful. He didn't dare to do anything in front of Su Yun. Director Lu, long time no see. How have you been? Su Yun smiled and said, have you been on a diet recently? You've lost a lot of weight. Lu Hong had a flattering smile on his face. No, no. If I could have Boss Su's figure, I would be willing to do anything. Ha ha ha, Boss Su, you must be joking. I will go and sign the documents now. You can take Miss Yi away immediately. I just arrived, and Director Lu is already in a hurry to send me off. Su Yun thought to himself, this guy is really afraid of me. He probably doesn't even want to see me for a minute. Otherwise, he wouldn't be so efficient and proactive. Then I'll have to trouble you, Director Lu. Lu Hong shook his head. Boss Su, what are you talking about? It's my great honor that you can come. It's just that my place is full of prisoners. It's a foul atmosphere. I'm afraid that Boss Su won't be able to adapt. I definitely don't mean to chase you away. Haha, don't misunderstand. Also, Miss Yi definitely wants to leave this place as soon as possible. Su Yun didn't talk nonsense with him. After Lu Hong signed the final documents, he asked someone to bring Yi Fala out. Yi Fala was already very satisfied that Su Yun could come and pick her up. After saying goodbye to Lu Hong and the prison, Yi Fala looked at the sunlight outside the car window with a bright smile. You're finally out. How do you plan to relax? Where do you want to go for a vacation? Su Yun joked. Yi Fala looked at the GPS device on her ankle and said, my range of activity is within a radius of 30 kilometers. Once I leave this range, there will immediately be special police agents to send me back to prison. Although it seems like I'm free, I'm still serving my sentence. It's already good that I'm out. I just hope that there will be more interesting things built within this radius of 30 kilometers. Otherwise, I'll really be bored to death. Su Yun drove Yi Fala back to Shinkai Hotel. When the employees of Shinkai saw Yi Fala, they were as shocked as if they had seen Mars colliding with the moon. Yi Fala's big case had been reported on television and newspapers. This matter could be said to be known by everyone in Shenzhen. It feels good to see you guys again. Yi Fala smiled. Let me make it clear first. I didn't break out of prison. Even if you call the police, there's no reward. I'm just serving my sentence outside the prison. I have nowhere to go, so I can only return to our hotel to stay for a while. You won't be unwelcome, right? A round of applause rang out. Someone had already taken the lead to shout out a welcome. Although Yi Fala had committed a heinous crime against society, she had never owed the hotel employees anything. The employees of Shinkai received the highest salary in the hotel industry and enjoyed the best benefits. All of this was brought to them by Yi Fala. Therefore, regardless of whether Yi Fala had committed a crime or not, in the eyes of the employees of Shinkai, she would always be a competent and good boss. A good boss who was considerate and fastidious. Now that you're back, everyone is more motivated. Su Yun, you should prepare to bring Shinkai back. Yi Fala smiled bitterly. If I had this power, I would definitely not hesitate to let you prepare the contract to sign. Unfortunately, I don't have this power. Even if you draft a transfer contract and I sign it, it doesn't have any legal effect. It won't take effect. Su Yun disagreed. Who cares if it takes effect or not? Do you have to sign that contract? It seems that your brain has really become stupid during this period of time. Rules are dead, but people are alive. Maybe. After all, there are many rules in prison. Yi Fala glanced at Su Yun. I know what you mean, and I understand your good intentions. Don't worry. Even if Shinkai doesn't belong to me forever, it's still the crystallization of my hard work. Since I have time and I can only stay in Shenzhen, I'm naturally willing to do anything for Shinkai. The two of them went to the CEO's office on the 6th floor. Yi Fala hadn't returned to this place for a long time. She was quite emotional. This is the name list of the people in charge of the various departments. Many of them are my brothers from Hadong. They are trustworthy and capable. Su Yun, I'm afraid we'll really have to trouble you during this period of time. Where are you planning to go to have fun? I heard from Chin Wan that you went to Tai Bai. How's it going? Yi Fala said lightly. At this moment, Lin Suyin knocked on the door of the CEO's office. Then, she pushed the door open and walked in. She smiled slightly. This sister is the friend you mentioned yesterday, right? The hotel is hers? Yes, she's called Yi Fala. You can call her CEO Yi or Sister Yi. Su Yun, oh right, how did you know I'm here? I asked around. After Lin Suyin finished speaking, she looked at Yi Fala curiously. Su Yun introduced her to Yi Fala. Lin Suyin, the precious daughter of the Three Lotus Association's President Lin. Recently, a lot of unpleasant things happened in Tai Bai. She came to the mainland with me to relax. Yi Fala nodded. She could read a lot of information from Su Yun's words. She nodded and said to Lin Suyin, "My condolences." Lin Suyin was startled. This woman was so smart. Thank you for your concern, CEO Yi. From the way Lin Suyin addressed Yi Fala, it could be seen that she was protecting herself and being vigilant against others. Between CEO Yi and Sister Yi, she chose a more unfamiliar address. You're welcome. Yi Fala said, Miss Lin, although I don't know what relationship you have with Su Yun, I hope you don't misunderstand my relationship with Su Yun. I'm just a prisoner serving a sentence outside the prison. The only thing I want is freedom. What love? It's far less important to me than freedom. So you don't have to be jealous of me. Hee, if you're so jealous, then you found the wrong person. The person Su Yun cares about isn't in Shenzhen right now. Su Yun looked at Yi Fala helplessly. Are you planting seeds for me? It had to be said that Yi Fala's words changed Lin Suyin's impression of her. Sister Yi, Su Yun never told me anything about him. Does he have a lot of girlfriends? You can say that. But I don't know how many people he has in his heart. Yi Fala smiled. However, there's one thing I can be sure of. There are a lot of girls who like him. If you join them, then the competition will be very fierce. Does the competition include you? Lin Suyin said bluntly. Yi Fala shrugged. I can be said to be the loser of the competition? Isn't that right, Su Yun? Say something. Can't you two talk about something more meaningful? Su Yun, how about this? Since you two have so much in common, then you two can have a good chat. I won't disturb you two. Yi Zi, I have something to do these 2 days. I'll leave Lin Suyin to you. Where are you going? I'll go with you. Lin Suyin wasn't willing. Su Yun shook his head. You stay here. If I'm going to play, I'll definitely bring you along. But this isn't going to play. I have something to do. So stay here obediently and have a good chat with your sister Yi Zi. Let your sister Yi Zi expose my shortcomings. Even if you don't let me go, you have to let me know where you're going, right? Lin Suyin still didn't give up. Lunan. Su Yun didn't have anything to hide. What are you going to do? Lin Suyin asked. Su Yun looked at Lin Suyin seriously and said, Of course I have to find a way to find Lang Chen. Even if Su Yun was very clear that once Lang Chen recovered from his injuries, he would definitely take the initiative to find him, but by then, everything would be too late. He had to take the initiative to attack. Before things got bad to the point where he was badly battered, he had to deal with it properly. While Lang Chen was still recuperating and before Lang Chen recovered the ability to kill them in one blow, Su Yun had to take the initiative. Su Yun firmly believed in this point. But this initiative couldn't start with him. So he had to make a trip to Lunan. Lin Suyin didn't know the division of power in the underground world, but Yi Fala was very clear. She reminded Su Yun, Don't think that Wang Long Huang is a good person. He dares to call himself the emperor. Everyone in the underground world knows how arrogant he is. If you go to him to help you, I'm afraid it's impossible for him to be serious just to help someone else. But if it's for himself, it's different. Su Yun smiled slightly. Don't worry, I'll be fine. Yi Fala looked at the GPS location on her anklet again. If I can remove this thing, I can help you. After all, Wang Long Huang and I have some friendship. Removing this will only make you go back to prison, and you won't have the chance to serve your sentence outside. I won't let you take this risk. Su Yun, I can still handle this small matter. Besides, I still have Lin Gu to help me. Yi Fala knew that she couldn't stop him, so she didn't say any more nonsense. Then I can only wish you a safe journey. Thank you. Su Yun, then I'll leave Lin Suin to you for these few days. I can see that you two have a good chat. As he spoke, Su Yun said to Lin Suin, Shenzhen is enough for you to play for 3 to 5 days. When I come back, I promise I'll bring you to a beautiful coastal city for a period of time. Really? Lin Suin pouted. You didn't say that you'll leave me alone after you come back. If I can, I definitely won't make this decision. Su Yun, but I can only do this now. I have no other way, and I don't have any other choice. If I want to get rid of Lang Chan as soon as possible, then I have to go to Lu Nan to meet someone. Yi Fala had been frowning the whole time. Going to talk terms with Wang Long Huang was originally a huge gamble. Who knew what that extremely arrogant guy would do? If she had other ways, she definitely wouldn't let Su Yun go to Lu Nan. Where's Lin Gu? Su Yun suddenly thought of a problem. He told Lin Gu to look after Lin Suin. Lin Suin shrugged. His girlfriend called and asked him to go shopping with her to buy underwear. Do you think I'll let him refuse? Of course, I have to let him go. Yesterday, he just stabilized the girl's heart under my guidance. Of course, he has to perform better today and swipe his card more elegantly. There's no girl he can't get. Chapter 786. Although Su Yun did not want to waste time, he still resisted the urge to call Lin Gu. He did not want to ruin Lin Ji's relationship. However, Su Yun needed a helper by his side in a place like Lu Nan. In the worst-case scenario, at least he would not fall into a dangerous situation where he was surrounded by enemies. Therefore, the person he wanted to bring along not only needed his complete trust, but also a certain level of strength. After thinking about it again and again, Su Yun went to the kitchen to look for Shanzi and called little Dong Bei out. Brother Yun, why are you looking for me? Little Dong Bei was still holding a kitchen knife in his hand. He raised the back of his hand to wipe his reddened eyes. Thank goodness you called me out. I really can't stand the smell of onions. Aya, the air outside is still better. Su Yun helplessly smiled. Are you really going to learn how to be a chef and then go home and tell your father that you've returned with success and brought glory to your ancestors? Ha ha ha, Brother Yun, it's fine if you say that to others. Little Dong Bei said, not many people can become world-class chefs. Even if they become world-class chefs, they'll still be serving the rich. No matter how good a chef is, he'll still have to work in the kitchen. How can he bring glory to his ancestors? It's fine to fool an old farmer like my father. Su Yun gestured for him to take off his apron. Then why didn't you tell me that you didn't want to be a chef in the kitchen? There are so many departments in Xingkai that can do things. Tell me what you want to do and I'll definitely help you. Brother, I know you take care of me. However, I, little Dong Bei, am a discerning person. I'll only be good to you if you treat me well. Little Dong Bei said, I don't have any requests in Xingkai. Let's not talk about anything else. Let's talk about the house that Boss Bu gave me. How many chefs can afford to buy a 3-bedroom apartment in Shenzhen City? They don't even dare to dream about it. Since he gave it to you, then it's what you deserve. Su Yun, yes, there are no chefs who can afford to buy Shenzhen's top-notch Sanju, but there are also no chefs who can step forward and save so many lives in that kind of life-threatening situation. You have to know that you deserve it. Little Dong Bei chuckled. Big Brother Yun, I'm willing to work for you because of your attitude towards me. I don't want anything materialistic. I just feel that you're willing to open your heart to me. You definitely aren't using me as a tool. If there's anything you need, just say the word and I'll definitely do it. Just based on the fact that you trust me. Su Yun patted little Dong Bei's shoulder. Since you've said so, I won't stand on ceremony with you. Prepare to pack up and follow me to Lunan. Ah. Go to Lunnan? Me? Who else? Brother Pigeon? Little Dong Bei was stunned for a moment. This business trip was too sudden. Brother Yun, you just came back to settle down. Aren't you going to take a look at Qingdao? I want to, but I'm afraid I don't have that much time. Su Yun, this time, it'll be just you and me going to Lunan. Pigeon won't go. He'll stay in Shenzhen to date his girlfriend and help me look after Miss Lin. Only you can help me with this. Little Dong Bei was shocked when he heard this news. Brother Pigeon really found a girlfriend? Hee, brother, when will you find a wife for me? If you're a man, go after her yourself. Can't you have some ambition? Su Yun, when you come back, hurry up and find a driving school to register. After you get your driver's license, buy a four-wheeled car. By then, you'll have a car and a house in Shenzhen. You won't have to worry about not finding a wife. Little Dong Bei heard this and said righteously, No, definitely not. A woman who's with me for a house and a car definitely doesn't love me. I don't want that. I'm looking for true love. Forget it. Su Yun patted Little Dong Bei's shoulder. Society is different now. Out of 100 girls, 99 of them are materialistic and won't fall in love. The remaining one is still slow-witted. Do you believe me? Brother Yun, you mean? Sister Shuang and the rest are slow-witted? Little Dong Bei chuckled. I heard from Brother Chang and the rest that when Sister Shuang fell in love with you, she didn't know you had this ability. At that time, you were... They're different. Su Yun directly interrupted Little Dong Bei. Okay. I promise you, I'll get your Sister Shuang to help you find a good one. She's not materialistic, she's purely loving. You have to first make yourself so that she can fall in love with you. Now, go and prepare. Tell Shanzi that I'll call you later and you can come downstairs. Little Dong Bei laughed foolishly and nodded. Of course, he knew that Su Yun was right. It was hard to find 1 out of 100 girls who weren't materialistic. Even if there was one, not everyone was worthy of her. Many materialistic girls thought that they had high standards and good taste. Actually, that wasn't the case at all. Those who had high standards and good taste were the rare materialistic girls. The reason was simple. Materialistic girls who only saw materialistic things, money, luxury cars, and houses. How could they care about the qualities a man should have? The most important things a man should have were definitely not just houses, cars, and money. It was such a simple thing, but 99% of girls couldn't see it clearly. In the eyes of most people, a poor man wasn't necessarily a good man. Why not find a rich man who wasn't a good man? At least they wouldn't have to worry about materialistic things. It had to be said that this made sense. Many poor guys had quite a lot of cunning ideas in their bellies. Su Yun returned to his room and simply packed his things. Then, he called Lin Gu to inform him that he was going to Lunnan. When Lin Gu heard that Su Yun was going to take Little Dong Bei away and let him stay in Shenzhen, he immediately rushed back to Xinkai. He didn't want to delay his business because of a girlfriend. Brother, you have to think about this again. When Lin Gu rushed back to Xinkai, Su Yun and Little Dong Bei were already preparing to leave. I've thought about it. I'm not letting you stay in Shenzhen just to let you date. Su Yun smiled. There's also Lin Suin. I need you to help me take care of her. Didn't Sister Yi agree to help you take care of Sister Suin? Lin Gu said, Brother, I've already told Fengya. If she really chooses to be with me, she'll understand me. I can't possibly do nothing just to accompany her. Su Yun shook his head. That's not the only problem. There's something more important. Someone must stay in Shenzhen. You have to understand this. Why? Lin Gu didn't understand Su Yun's intentions. Give me a real reason to stay in Shenzhen. Because I can't be sure if Lang Chen will suddenly appear here. Su Yun said seriously, so I need someone in Shenzhen. I'm not letting you stay here just to let you relax. If Lang Chen isn't recuperating like we think, then his first target in the mainland will definitely be Shenjiang. Lin Gu didn't say anything else. He also understood that Su Yun's words made sense. Su Yun patted Lin Ji's shoulder. Lang Chen wouldn't hesitate to cooperate with Muto Ichiro in order to form an alliance. If I don't make preparations to gain the initiative by finding a partner, I'll obviously be at a disadvantage when the time comes. I don't want to see this situation, and you don't want to see it either. I understand. Lin Gu nodded. Have a safe trip. After speaking, Lin Gu pulled little Dong Bei to the side. I'll leave my brother in your care. Don't disappoint me. Brother Pigeon, don't worry. As long as I, little Dong Bei, am alive, I'll definitely let Brother Yun come out unscathed. Little Dong Bei patted his chest. I'll do what I say. Aren't you bragging a little too much? Lin Gu laughed bitterly. Take care of yourself. Lu Nan's place is worse than you think. Since ancient times, that place has been known as a bandit city. It's also the most chaotic place in Huaxia's underground world. Don't be careless. Little Dong Bei nodded. I understand. Before Su Yun was ready to leave, Yi Fala and Lin Suin came to see him off. Lin Suin obviously didn't want Su Yun to leave. You better come back safely. Otherwise, I won't forgive you. That's for sure. I've already promised Brother Dong and the others to take good care of you. If something happens to me, how can I take care of you? Su Yun smiled. Yi Fala pulled Su Yun to the side and stuffed something into his pocket. If Wang Long Huang makes things difficult for you, it's best not to fall out with him. That will only make things worse. Although I don't know how much influence I have in Lu Nan, if you think it's necessary, show this to him. Maybe he'll be easier to communicate with. Su Yun nodded. Then I'll leave this place to you. If Pigeon needs help, the only person who can help him is you. I'll do my best. Yi Fala said, you don't have to worry about this. Even if Lang Chen comes and wants to cause trouble in Shenjiang, he'll have to ask if I'm willing. Su Yun's lips curled up slightly. Keep bragging. After everything was arranged, Su Yun and little Dong Bei drove onto the highway to Lu Nan. In order to be more mobile, Su Yun and the others chose to drive. The distance of about 1,000 kilometers wasn't short, but it wasn't far either. One day was enough. The only inconvenience was that little Dong Bei didn't know how to drive and couldn't help Su Yun change shifts. On the way, Su Yun didn't stay idle. As he drove, he taught little Dong Bei the theory of driving. Little Dong Bei listened very seriously and wanted to try driving in the end. Su Yun didn't want to take this risk. Even if he wanted to practice driving, he couldn't practice on the highway. The car drove forward and got closer to Lu Nan province. Su Yun didn't have a good impression of this famous bandit city in Huaxia. After all, the few times he came to Lu Nan were to deal with some terrorist attacks. A city with a large and chaotic population was often the easiest place for evil to breed. No one could deny this. This was also the hub city that connected the Central Plains and Tibet. A lot of things were hard to control. After all, for so many years, the Tibet region in Huaxia had never been peaceful. There would always be things happening and causing trouble for the leaders. Chapter 787. It was not an exaggeration to say that Lunan Province was the #1 bandit town in Huaxia. As soon as Su Yun got off the highway and entered the city, he was stopped by a group of uniformed guys just like the other cars with foreign license plates. As long as it wasn't Lunan's car, there was no way they could pass. Immediately, a few uniformed guys would surround them and shout something. In the end, the foreign cars were only allowed to pass after paying a fee. Finally, it was the turn of the old Mitsubishi SUV in front of Su Yun. A few uniformed guys surrounded the car and impatiently shouted at the driver, "You've seen the situation of the car in front. You can't do whatever you want now. I'll give you 2 choices. One is to pay 3,000 yuan and leave. The other is to follow me to the traffic police department to go through the proper procedures and be fined. If you don't cooperate, your driver's license will be revoked and you'll be detained for 10 days, 8 days, and you'll have a taste of prison. I didn't violate any rules. Why should I be punished? The Mitsubishi driver was not a good-tempered person who was easily provoked. He glared at them and said, Huaxia is a lawful society. Do you still want to break the law? The traffic police can't just randomly arrest people. Give me a reason for the fine. Detention? Who are you trying to scare? I've been scared since I was young. Among the crowd, a person who looked more imposing stood up and patted the hood of the Mitsubishi. He smiled and said, Friend, 3,000 yuan isn't expensive at all, right? Let me tell you, if we want to investigate you, we can definitely find out what's wrong with you. While this person was talking, Su Yun saw a uniformed guy go around the back of the Mitsubishi and use a tool to remove the car's license plate. If Su Yun guessed correctly, this guy's license plate had also been removed. The person in the Mitsubishi was stunned. Of course, he saw the other party's people doing something to the front of his car. He hurriedly got out of the car and shouted, What are you doing? What are you trying to do? Stop it. Why are you removing my license plate? As soon as he got out of the car, he was immediately pressed against the car by a few people. Even though he was subdued, the Mitsubishi driver was still unconvinced. Bullying with numbers? I'm alone today. I admit defeat. Tell me what you want to do. You're driving a car without a license plate. That's a penalty of 12 points. How about it? Come with me to the traffic police station? The leader of the uniformed fellows chuckled. How many days you'll be detained will depend on your attitude when you arrive. Don't even think about framing us. There are no cameras here. If you don't have evidence to prove that we took off your license plate, we can still sue you for slandering a public official. Good. 3,000. I'll give you 3,000, I'll pay, okay? The Mitsubishi guy was both angry and aggrieved. However, he was alone in a foreign land. What could he do if he encountered something like this? Moreover, the other party was a member of the traffic police team. It was obvious that he was no match for them. If he continued to challenge the other party, he would be overestimating himself. The uniformed leader raised his head and laughed. It was 3,000 just now, but it's different now. One license plate is 3,000, and 2 are 6,000. Take it or not, I'll give you a chance. When the Mitsubishi owner heard this, his eyes were about to burst into flames, but what could he do? His eyes were burning with anger as he admitted defeat. Here. I'll pay. Put on my license plate. Brothers, put on this friend's license plate. After the uniformed leader finished speaking, he raised the price again. The installation fee is 1,000 yuan, so the total is 7,000 yuan. The Mitsubishi owner spent almost all of his cash before he was considered to have passed the dangerous situation. This group of uniformed fellows was really ruthless. They were simply a group of wolves in sheep's clothing, stinky hooligans in uniform. Little Dong Bei clenched his teeth. He really couldn't help but want to teach them a lesson. They were working for the government and taking taxpayers' money. They actually used their authority to extort commoners. These fellows were too arrogant. Little Dong Bei, you don't really think that they're from the traffic police, do you? Su Yun smiled slightly. I've told you before that Lunnan is the biggest bandit town in Huaxia. Hee, you don't have to be surprised by anything you see here. Little Dong Bei widened his eyes. But they're all wearing the uniform of the traffic police. What kind of society is this? Even if you want to buy the uniform of Zhong Nanhai's bodyguards, you can buy it, not to mention the uniform of the traffic police. Su Yun, the government is mighty and domineering. How many high-ranking officials have fallen from their posts? Those high-ranking officials who have committed crimes are treading on thin ice. These small fries in the organization wouldn't dare to do such a thing. They're fake. Little Dong Bei suddenly realized. No wonder they all had such a strong bandit aura. Su Yun nodded. Of course they're fake. They can make us law-abiding commoners obediently stop the car with fake clothes. This group of people really have brains. It's a pity that they used their brains in the wrong place. Little Dong Bei watched as the Mitsubishi owner quickly left after paying the money. He raised his head to look at Su Yun. "Brother, it's our turn. What should we do? I don't want to cause trouble, and I don't want to pay. I think it's really difficult." Su Yun indeed didn't want to waste time on these messy things. He came to London to find Wang Long Huang, not to deal with these bandits. While they were talking, there were already people surrounding Su Yun's car. Su Yun had just changed the car radio to London's radio station. The radio station was advertising the hotel, Jean Huashing Hotel, 588 yuan, luxury standard room with the original price of 1,800 yuan, 24-hour hot water, 4G wireless internet, 48-inch HD TV. This hotel is not bad, Su Yun thought. 588 yuan for 2 people for a night. It's quite affordable. Yo, today we finally see a luxury car worth more than $1 million. The leader of the uniformed men smiled and walked in front of Su Yun's car window. "Brother, you're rich." Su Yun only glanced at him and didn't say anything. At this time, he also saw that there were already 2 uniformed men standing at the 2 ends of his car. If he didn't comply, he would probably be the same as the person in front and be threatened with his license plate taken off. "Brother, I always like to make friends with rich people. I wonder if you're interested in being friends with me?" The leader of the uniformed men laughed. "You also saw the situation of the car in front. I can't help it. I'm just a wage earner. That bit of money isn't even enough for me to get along every month. I can only come out to do some private work." Su Yun saw that he was still pretending, but didn't expose him. "A car costs 3,000 yuan, you can at least earn a few 100,000 yuan in one night, right?" "Ha ha ha, it's not as much as you say. It's already not bad to earn a few 100,000 yuan in one night," the leader of the uniformed men said. "Besides, we have so many brothers. If we split it evenly, it won't be much. It's just money for cigarettes. You understand, right?" Su Yun sneered. "I really don't understand." "Enough, brother. I don't want to talk nonsense with you." The leader of the uniformed men said, "Anyway, you rich people don't lack tens of thousands of yuan. I'll give you a fixed price. 10,000 yuan, and you can leave immediately. Otherwise, you'll have to spend more than that just to clean your car, right?" Chapter 788. Compared to Little Dong Bei, Su Yun was much calmer. 10,000? Ha ha ha, since you want to be friends with me, you don't have to raise the price so much, right? You should really rob a bank. That way you can earn money faster. Not to mention 10,000, even 10 million is more than that. My suggestion is good, right? The uniformed man's face changed. "Okay, I don't have time to talk nonsense with you. Are you giving it or not? Just say it. Don't waste time. I'm giving you face because you don't lack money, but I don't have the patience. Don't tell me you want to follow me to the traffic police station?" Su Yun shook his head. "Of course not." After a pause, Su Yun said, "But I don't want to pay. What should I do?" "Then there's nothing to talk about." The uniformed man immediately gave his men a look. The 2 men standing in front and behind the car, one in front and one behind, squatted down and prepared to take the license plate. Su Yun didn't agree to this. When the car was in neutral gear, he suddenly stepped on the accelerator. With a hum, the roar of the engine knocked the guy in front of the car half to death, causing him to squat on the ground. Following that, Su Yun shifted the car into reverse and braked. The rear of the car arched backward and with a bang, it knocked over the guy who was squatting behind the car and trying to remove the license plate. Seeing that the Kian was so uncooperative, the uniformed man was furious. "Kid, you really don't want face. You won't cry until you see the coffin, right? Good. Openly resisting law enforcement, then I'll take you to the traffic police station. Let's see if you can still be tough then. You don't have to scare people." Su Yun sneered and stopped the car. "You still want to pretend to be a public official, right? Don't splash dirty water on the faces of public officials. Robbery is already a crime, and you still want to pretend to be a law enforcement officer. I think you are the one who won't cry until you see the coffin. Under Su Yun's signal, Little Dong Bei directly opened the door and jumped out of the car. He punched the person who was running toward him. Su Yun suddenly opened the door, and the car door directly sent the leader of the uniformed men flying. Seeing that they were about to make a move, more than a dozen uniformed men immediately turned fierce and rushed over. However, they were all low-level hooligans after all. Su Yun didn't even need to do anything. Little Dong Bei alone killed all the imposters in 3 minutes. Dealing with these hooligans was much easier than dealing with the wild boars in the old forest. After the battle with He Zhong's men on the cruise ship, Little Dong Bei had grown significantly, especially in terms of explosive power. None of the hooligans who had pretended to be traffic police could withstand a single punch from Little Dong Bei. Su Yun could only rejoice that this kid did not have a knife in his hand. Otherwise, it would be really troublesome if he was stabbed to death. Hooligans were hateful, but they didn't deserve to die. Little Northeast clapped his hands and looked at the hooligans lying on the ground. He spat on the ground. He really didn't care about these guys. Go tell the people in the back to leave. Don't waste time here, Su Yun said to Little Dong Bei. Little Dong Bei nodded and went to clear the traffic. Many people who were driving here left the scene as fast as they could. They didn't want to think about whether these law enforcement officers were imposters or not. They only cared about their own interests. Su Yun walked up to the leader of the uniformed men and smiled wickedly. Are you regretting coming out today? This is called assaulting a police officer. A felony. The leader of the uniformed men still wanted to use his impersonation to threaten Su Yun. Su Yun waved his hand impatiently. Okay, stop pretending. Even if you don't find it tiring, I find it annoying. Can't you at least be a little more professional? The first thing you said was to ask for the driver's license and car registration. This is a habit of the traffic police. Who would start with money? No matter how stupid I am, I can tell that you are imposters. Also, the quality of your clothes is too poor, right? What kind of cloth is this? It doesn't look good at all. Tell me, where are you from? Forget it, I'll just call the police. The leader of the uniformed men stared at Su Yun with his eyes wide open. He was rendered speechless by Su Yun's words. Seeing Su Yun take out his phone to call the police, the uniformed men reacted. It's useless even if you call the police. Our big brother is very familiar with the people in the police station. No one can touch us. Your big brother is quite awesome. What's his name? Let's hear it. Su Yun was obviously just scaring them. Calling the police would only cause trouble for him. I really want to know who is so talented to let his underlings do this. The uniformed men snorted heavily. Our big brother is Black Bull. If you know what's good for you, you'd better let us go and get out of London. Otherwise, my big brother will skin you alive. Have you heard of it? Su Yun looked back at Little Dong Bei who was walking back from clearing the traffic. Little Dong Bei shook his head like a rattledrum. I've heard of Red Bull, but I've never heard of Black Bull. Is it also a functional drink? The uniformed men stared with wide eyes and a face full of anger. These two guys really made him gnash his teeth. However, he was worried that the other party was too powerful and ruthless. One person could kill more than 10 of their brothers. He really didn't dare to act out. Su Yun touched his chin. Sorry, we've never heard of it. It only means that your big brother isn't loud enough. I'm afraid he can't threaten us. Kid, you better not be too arrogant. My big brother, Black Bull, is the sworn brother of Lunnan's son, Wang Longhuang. The uniformed man gritted his teeth and said, You've heard of this, right? You better think carefully about who you've offended. If you don't want to die, you better be obedient. Wang Longhuang's sworn brother? Su Yun was stunned. This was really unintentional. He was still worried about how to find out about Wang Longhuang's whereabouts. He had just entered Lunnon's territory and there were already clues. You can boast so loudly. Does your homeroom teacher know? Su-yun, I've heard of Lunnon's son. How can he be the sworn brother of a group of lowly hooligans like you? Do you think I'll believe your words? It's up to you to believe it or not. If you have the guts, then leave your name. If you dare to stay overnight in Lunnon, if our big brother doesn't take care of you, then he's not called Black Bull. The uniformed man's anger wasn't small. Su-yun grinned. Then I'll give you a chance. Tonight, we'll stay overnight at Jinhuaxing Hotel. If you have the ability, then get your big brother, Black Bull, to find us. After saying that, Su-yun pointed at the car. I might as well tell you. Don't talk about 10,000 in cash. I can even take out 100,000. Let's see if your big brother has the ability to ask for your medical fees. After saying that, Su-yun waved to Little Dong Bei and said, Let's go. After Little Dong Bei got on the car, he asked, Brother Yun, where is Jinhuaxing Hotel? The one that was mentioned in the broadcast just now. I don't know where it is. Let's go to the city and look for it. It sounds quite affordable. Su-yun started the car and left as he said, Eh. Chapter 789. The Jinhuaxing Hotel was quite easy to find. The advertisement on the radio wasn't lying. The standard room for 580 yuan for 2 people was indeed quite good. Su-yun and Little Dong Bei were quite satisfied. Su-yun let Little Dong Bei take a shower first. He called Shen Jiang to report that they were safe. Lin Guo was relieved to know that they had arrived safely. After Little Dong Bei took a shower, Su-yun also went to take a shower. After driving for a day, his body was really stiff. Just now, he was preparing to move his muscles and bones. Unexpectedly, those hooligans were so weak that Little Dong Bei didn't even have the chance to fight them. This made Su-yun embarrassed to make a move. Sigh. He didn't even seize the opportunity to move. Su-yun dried his body and put on his clothes. Just as he walked out of the bathroom, he heard a knock on the door. Little Dong Bei hurriedly got up and walked over. As he asked who it was, he opened the door. As soon as he opened the door, Little Dong Bei was stunned at the door. An extremely scantily dressed woman stood at the door of their room, stroking her hair coquettishly. She threw flirtatious glances at Little Dong Bei. Little brother, it's me. You just called me to come and serve you. Have you forgotten? You're really forgetful. Little Dong Bei was dumbfounded. Call. I didn't call. Miss, you've got the wrong person, right? Oh, little brother, what are you afraid of? Our hotel is very safe. There definitely won't be any checks. Don't worry. As the woman spoke, she pushed the door open and entered. Little Dong Bei's mind was in a daze. When he suddenly saw a woman dressed so scantily, he really didn't have any resistance. It was understandable that young people were hot-tempered. Little Dong Bei kept retreating as he muttered, You really came to the wrong door. I didn't call. I really didn't call. What's there to be embarrassed about? Everyone has their own needs. There's no need to be embarrassed. The woman got closer and closer to Little Dong Bei, and her expression became more and more exaggerated. No matter what request you have, I can satisfy you. At this point, the woman seemed to have noticed Su-yun, and was stunned for a moment. Then, she pretended to be shy and said, You're so annoying. Why didn't you make it clear that there are 2 of you? If you want to have a threesome, you'll have to pay more. I won't do the 800 that we agreed on before. Su-yun was also having a headache. Now, the crackdown on prostitution had indeed cleaned up the internet, and even Dongguan and Shiguan. However, the phenomenon of prostitution in most hotels was still common. No matter how strict the crackdown was, it was still a kind of social evil that could not be eliminated. He already said that you came to the wrong door. Su-yun wasn't as easygoing as Little Dong Bei. He glared at him and said, There's no business for you here. Go do whatever you need to do. The woman glanced at Su Yun and said shyly, It's said that handsome guys have bad tempers. It seems like it's true. Alright. Even if I came to the wrong door, I'm willing to serve you on account of how handsome you are. I don't want the 1,500. How about 1,000? It's really not expensive. It's definitely lower than the market price. If you don't believe me, you can call and ask around. Little Dong Bei had never seen such a situation before. He hid to the side and didn't say anything. He would rather see a wild boar rush in after opening the door than a prostitute. Su Yun didn't have the patience. I already said that I'm not in the mood. If you know what's good for you, hurry up and leave. Even if it's 100, we don't need it. Understand? The woman was a little embarrassed. You were the one who called and asked me to come to Jinhua Star to serve you. Even if I failed elementary math, I can still tell the room number. If you're deliberately playing with me, then I won't agree. Since I'm already here, whether you do it or not, you can't pay less. Little Dong Bei was annoyed when he heard that. We didn't do anything. Why should we pay? You have to pay even if you don't want to. You have to do it even if you don't want to. 1,500. No discussion. The woman angrily threw down her bag and began to take off her top in front of the two men in the room. Looking at her posture, it seemed like she was going to act shamelessly and play hard. He had seen people who forced people to buy and sell. That was what small businessmen like to do. At most, they would sell houses or cars and use some tricks to force people to buy and sell. He had never seen people who used their own bodies to force people to buy and sell. Lu Nan's place really opened Su Yun's eyes. They had only been in the city for less than 2 hours, and they had already encountered hooligans who disguised themselves as traffic police. The prostitute had taken the initiative to come to their door and force them to pay for her. It's useless even if you take off your clothes. If we close our eyes and don't look, then we won't pay you. Little Dong Bei naively argued with her. You better hurry up and leave. I've never hit a woman. Don't force me to do it. You can hit people. As long as you pay more, you can even whip me. The woman wasn't ashamed of her actions at all. Just as Su Yun was about to open the door and forcefully send the woman out, he suddenly heard a series of hurried footsteps outside the door. In an instant, Su Yun understood what was going on, but it was too late now. Quang Dang. The door was kicked open. A few policemen from the anti-pornography team broke in. One of them took a camera and took a series of photos, afraid that he would miss any evidence. The prostitute who had just taken off her clothes was so scared that she hugged her body and curled into a ball. She hurriedly explained, "Brother policeman, this is my first time doing this. I haven't earned any money yet. I know that I'm wrong. Please forgive me. Don't punish me. I'll do anything you want. The only thing you can do is something that we all find dirty." A young policeman angrily reprimanded. "Shut up. Put on your clothes." Little Dong Bei's eyes widened as he looked at the police officers. He whispered to Su Yun, "Big brother Yun, could these police officers be imposters as well?" Su Yun shook his head helplessly. "I'm afraid that these are the regular army." "What are you muttering about? You're young and you don't learn good things. You're staying in a hotel and inviting prostitutes." An older policeman reprimanded. "Humph, if your parents knew that you were like this, they would definitely regret raising you. Squat down with your hands on your heads. If you keep muttering, don't blame me for being rude to you." Little Dong Bei felt wronged. "Uncle policeman, we're innocent. We didn't invite prostitutes. This woman came in by herself. We were just about to kick her out. Squat down with your hands on your head." The older policeman's temper wasn't very good. Su Yun signaled Little Dong Bei to do it first. If you didn't do anything wrong, you wouldn't be afraid of ghosts knocking on your door. This matter would prove their innocence sooner or later. Going against the police now obviously wouldn't have a good result. This matter was deliberately arranged by someone. It was obvious that someone wanted to frame them. Little Dong Bei suppressed the grievance in his heart. He didn't know whether to laugh or cry as he followed Soo-yun's instructions. He squatted on the ground with his hands on his head. He was extremely depressed. How did such a bad thing happen to him? If this person was unlucky, he would choke on cold water and choke on air. Chapter 790. The lady was obviously a habitual offender. She had experienced this kind of thing countless times. She didn't need the police comrade to tell her what to do next. She obediently raised her hands and prepared to be handcuffed. However, she still muttered that she was innocent. "Brother policeman, it's really my first time. I haven't received any money yet. This is at most an attempt. There's no need to detain me, right?" "Your first time? I think you look quite familiar," another police officer said disdainfully. Most of the words from the lady's mouth were lies. This was not surprising at all. A person who could even betray herself had no credibility to speak of. "When you reach the station, call your boss and ask him to come and redeem you. You ladies are really inexhaustible." When the lady heard that nothing made sense, the resentment in her heart couldn't be concealed. She glared fiercely at Soo-yun and little Dong Bei. "It's all because of you." "Humph. I'm really unlucky today. Everything happened to me. You two better not let me see you again in the future. Every time I see you, I'll find someone to beat you up once." Did the people of Lunnan province like to threaten people like this? Little Dong Bei shook his head helplessly. "Big sister, don't be cynical. If you want to talk about unlucky, it's us who are unlucky. We were just preparing to have a good sleep. Who knew that you came to the wrong door and even attracted the police uncle? We haven't complained yet." Soo-yun more or less understood the situation. "All right, don't say any more. We've all been played for a fool. It's useless to say anything now. We can only wait for the police comrade to investigate. Don't flatter. We don't buy it. That's enough. Don't make so many excuses." The middle-aged policeman said, "You're not good people. You dare to do it but don't dare to admit it. Police comrade, if you don't believe me, you can look at the lady's mobile phone and ask her which number called for her door-to-door service. I can assure you that it wasn't us." Soo-yun explained, "We were really fooled." The lady seemed to understand a little. This hotel was so safe. Who would come to check the rooms for no reason? Someone must have reported it. But it definitely wouldn't be someone from the hotel, because they received benefits from their boss every month. Someone must have deliberately arranged this in the dark. She was just a pawn to trap these two fellows. Damn it. Police comrade, I dare say that you're definitely not conducting a large-scale investigation. You're coming straight for us. Soo-yun, it's obvious that someone reported us. We've just arrived in Lunnan. How would we know the phone number for door-to-door service? Anyone with a discerning eye can see that the person who reported us arranged everything. The young policeman said angrily, "Are you insinuating something? Are you calling us blind? We only believe what we see. You don't need to quibble." "All of you, shut up." The middle-aged policeman looked at Soo-yun, then looked at the young lady and said coldly, "It's useless to say anything now. Wait until you arrive at the station before you explain." With that, the middle-aged policeman waved his hand. "Cuff them and take them away." Little Dong Bei looked at Soo-yun. As long as Soo-yun gave the order, he would immediately resist without hesitation. Soo-yun shook his head silently. He had just arrived, and if he got mixed up with the police, he wouldn't be able to stay any longer if they issued a warrant for his arrest. Soo-yun didn't want to get involved in such matters. It was better to honestly explain the situation to the police comrade. That way, he wouldn't be unable to find a place to stay in Lunnan. Little Dong Bei saw that Soo-yun didn't allow him to move, so he obediently cuffed his hands and followed the police out of the hotel with his head drooping. Luckily, they were in another city and it was dark at night. Otherwise, it would be embarrassing. He was still a young boy who kept his chastity. If this misunderstanding were to spread, how was he going to find a wife? Being caught was a small matter, and it didn't matter if he was wrongly accused. But if it delayed his marriage, such as finding a wife, it would be really troublesome. Both of you are jinxes. In the police van, the lady who came out to serve them said angrily, "Who exactly did you offend? You even caused me to get involved with you. Either you give me compensation for my mental damage, or you wait to be beaten up." Soo-yoon sighed. "When you came, we already said that we would let you go. If you didn't take off your clothes as if you were in a hurry to reincarnate, you wouldn't have been caught red-handed, right?" "That's right. We haven't complained yet." "What are you complaining about?" Little Dong-bae glared at the lady. "Umph. Unlucky people." The lady was furious when she saw the two of them. The middle-aged policeman sitting in the front passenger seat looked back unhappily. "If you continue to talk so much nonsense, I will get someone to stuff your mouths. Is there any other problem?" Hearing the leader speak, Soo-yoon and little Dong-bae didn't have much of a temper. They would just stop talking. They weren't the ones who took the initiative to talk just now. It was all that woman's fault for not being able to control her mouth. The lady didn't dare to act rashly in front of the police. She obediently shut up and stayed in the car quietly like a virgin. She was no longer flirting like before. Soon, the police car quietly returned to the nearest police station. Soo-yoon and the others were taken out of the car and handed over to the police officers on duty to lock them in the detention room. The few guys who returned with Narrate went to the office to drink tea. Obviously, they weren't in a hurry about the interrogation. About 10 minutes later, the middle-aged policeman appeared in front of them again. He said to Soo-yoon and little Dong-bae, "Both of you, come with me. Someone wants to see you." "Brother policeman, what about me?" The lady couldn't sit still. "At least let me make a phone call." Wait a moment," the middle-aged policeman said impatiently. Then, he pulled Soo-yoon and little Dong-bae out of the detention room. Then, he threw them into the interrogation room and handcuffed them to the chairs. Then, he turned around and left. "Brother Yoon, we're not familiar with this place. Who would look for us?" Little Dong-bae said nervously when he saw that they were locked in the room with their hands restrained. Soo-yoon seemed very relaxed. "Whoever arranged to frame us must be the one who wants to see us. I didn't expect them to be so careless. If I had known, I wouldn't have told them which hotel we were going to check in at." Little Dong-bae smiled bitterly. "Yeah, Brother Yoon, why did you tell them at that time? If we were really detained for 8 to 10 days, wouldn't we be in big trouble? Didn't that guy say that his boss is the sworn brother of the person we're looking for? Of course, I have to grab hold of such a useful clue." Soo-yoon said calmly, "Don't worry, we'll be out in a while. A clean conscience is not afraid of a crooked shadow. We didn't do anything. They have no evidence to detain us." Little Dong-bae could only pray and hope so. About 5 minutes later, there was a sound of footsteps outside the door. Little Dong-bae looked up at the door vigilantly. Soo-yoon's lips curled into a slightly evil smile. Chapter 791. Following the creaking sound of the door opening, 3 people rushed into the interrogation room. The one in front was the middle-aged policeman, who seemed to be the captain on duty today. The guy behind him craned his neck. When he saw Soo-yoon and little Dong-bae, he couldn't help but exclaim, "That's right. It's them." The middle-aged policeman frowned. The leader had just called and asked them to hand over the 2 people to Nyo Hongtaeon. He couldn't say anything. After all, he had to give face to the leader. He couldn't offend the higher-ups just because of a small merit. Otherwise, he wouldn't be able to stay in the unit anymore. Everyone understood such a simple logic. Nyo Hongtaeon still had some face in Lunan. Not to mention that he had a group of underlings under him, and that his usury business was doing very well. He was usually arrogant and overbearing, and bullied men and women. He was about to do whatever he wanted in Lunan, but he still hadn't been caught and thrown into jail. This showed that he definitely had some background and backing behind him. The one behind the 2 wearing a tang suit was Nyo Hongtaeon. The people of Lunan called him Black Bull. It could be understood from the literal meaning, black and bull. Nyo Hong Tian looked like he was only about 35 years old, but he was dressed quite maturely. His tang suit and the black cloth shoes on his feet were the outfit of an old man above 60 years old. Young and middle-aged people still preferred shiny leather shoes, well-ironed casual pants, comfortable shirts, and so on. "Are you sure?" Nyo Hong Tian said lightly. "Don't F*King say you're wrong after we bring them back. I'll kill you then." "Big brother, I'm sure they're right. Even if these two bastards turn into ashes, I'll still recognize them." This guy was the one who pretended to be the traffic police captain. Now that he saw Su Yun and Lin Gu, he was naturally enraged. The middle-aged policeman didn't say anything. He didn't know what was going on inside, and he didn't have the nerve to ask the higher-ups. When little Dong Bei saw the man who pretended to be a traffic police, he was so anxious that he wanted to stand up. "You pretended to be a traffic police and still want to pretend to be a police officer? Uncle Police, they're clearly from the underworld. You're a combination of officials and bandits? Is there anyone like you?" The middle-aged policeman was confused. What did he mean by pretending to be a traffic police officer? Impersonating a police officer? Nyo Hong Tian's triangular eyes narrowed slightly as he glared fiercely at little Dong Bei. Then, he said to the middle-aged policeman, "Captain G, I've really troubled you today. When I have time, I'll call Superintendent Chin, Commissioner Lee, and the others. We'll all drink and chat together." The middle-aged policeman hurriedly waved his hand. "Boss Nyo, you're treating me like an outsider. Superintendent Chin asked me to do something. That's my duty." Even if Superintendent Chin didn't give the order, Boss Nyo said that these two were his men. How could he not give face and let them go? "Ha ha ha, there's no need to be so polite. We're all friends. Don't be so polite. Captain G is really a good friend." Nyo Hong Tian said, "Then I'll have to thank you." Su Yun and Lil Dong Bei were stunned. This guy said that they were his people? What did that mean? "Can you speak more clearly?" Su Yun smiled slightly. "It said that one should not be rewarded without merit. Not only did I not do anything, but I also seem to have offended you. This boss Nyo wants to repay evil with good and redeem me? Hey. It really makes me feel a little embarrassed." The middle-aged policeman had already seen that these two guys were not Nyo Hong Tian's people at all. It was just that it was inconvenient to expose them. "Kid, Boss Nyo gave you a chance to get out. Why are you still talking so much nonsense? Do you really want me to throw you into the detention center for 10 days or 8 days? Will that make you happy?" "Of course not." Su Yun smiled. At this time, the middle-aged policeman had already uncuffed him. It seems that everywhere in the country is the same. As long as you have connections, you can do a lot of things with just a word. If you don't have any connections, you'll be framed and wronged. There's no way to explain it. Young man, do more and complain less. The middle-aged policeman said, "Don't be afraid of retribution if you offend someone." Su Yun gave him a thumbs up. "Well said, police comrade." The middle-aged policeman said to the two of them as he uncuffed little Dong Bei. "Let's forget about the two of you. If you want to thank someone, thank Boss Nyo. If it weren't for him, you would have been detained for at least 7 days. Thank your ancestors for their kindness." Little Dong Bei glanced at Nyo Hong Tian and muttered, "It's really my ancestors' kindness. They wouldn't have let me encounter such an unlucky thing and such an unlucky person." "Kid, you'd better clean your mouth." The guy who pretended to be a traffic policeman had changed out of his uniform and was wearing a black shirt. There were bruises on his face from little Dong Bei. "You'll have a good time later. Uncle Policeman, he threatened me." Little Dong Bei complained to the middle-aged policeman. However, the middle-aged policeman ignored him. He smiled at Nyo Hong Tian. "Boss Nyo, I've released him. You should hurry up and take him away. This isn't a place to drink tea and chat. He, it's not convenient to keep you as a guest. Captain G, you're too polite. Then I'll bring him back first." Nyo Hong Tian chuckled. The middle-aged policeman left. Su Yun and Little Dong Bei didn't stand on ceremony. They got up and walked out of the interrogation room. Su Yun was quite puzzled. Logically speaking, since this show was arranged by Boss Nyo, why didn't he use the law enforcement authority of the police to take revenge on them? You beat up my people and cut off my wealth. The two of you are quite bold. Nyo Hongtian's expression changed the moment he walked out of the police station. Do you know who I, Nyo Hongtian, am? I'm a very particular person. If you give me an explanation, I'll let you go. Otherwise, you'll have to leave something behind as compensation. His words were quite imposing. Little Dong Bei was not convinced by him. He threw his face impatiently and said, "Who do you think you are?" Just as he was about to turn hostile, a few young men jumped out of the cars in front of the police station. Some of them were holding Type 54 pistols bought from the black market, while others were holding single-barreled hunting rifles. Little Dong Bei was shocked. Weren't these guys too arrogant? They dared to take out guns in front of the police station? Little Dong Bei didn't say the rest of his words. He really hadn't experienced this before, and he didn't know how to solve it. You're Black Bull. Su Yun smiled slightly. You really live up to your reputation. You dare to do this in front of the police station. However, I bet your men don't dare to shoot. If it's just to scare people, then forget it. I, Su Yun, have been scared since I was young. Seeing that Su Yun's courage was not small, Nyo Hongtian snorted. You're a little interesting, kid. Okay, you have guts. I like to deal with people with guts. If you really have guts, then get in the car and follow me. Su Yun didn't hesitate. He walked directly to one of the cars. Then I'll have to trouble Brother Black Bull to give us a ride. Chapter 792. Su Yun was well aware that if this Black Bull was so kind as to bail him out of the police station, then he wouldn't have thought of such a crooked scheme to trap him. The other party was showing him his status and connections in London City, letting them understand that tonight's matter was because they had provoked someone they shouldn't have. The car was bumpy all the way, and after a few turns, they arrived at a famous large open market for building materials in the London Development Zone. Almost every building materials store had its own independent building, and there were many flagship stores of high-end building materials brands. But it was already the middle of the night, so naturally no stores were open, and the entire building materials market was exceptionally quiet. The security guards on duty saw Nyo Hongtian's car from afar, and they all stood up and smiled at the car, clearly very afraid of Nyo Hongtian. What was this guy selling in his gourd? Su Yun really couldn't figure it out. Little Dong Bei had been suppressing his impulses. If it weren't for the fact that these guys had guns in their hands, he would have already dealt with them, and wouldn't have willingly endured until now without saying a word. The car suddenly stopped, and the door opened. After Su Yun got off the car, he saw the signboard above the shop in front of him. Hongtian Investment Management Company, Limited. Isn't this a building materials market? Why is there an investment management company here? Su Yun thought for a long time before he finally understood. For these private investment management companies, 8 out of 10 of them weren't serious companies that relied on investments to help their clients manage their finances, and at least 5 of them relied on their relationships with loan sharks to make a profit. Obviously, the Hongtian Investment Management Company in front of him was also Nyo Hongtian's money-making tool. There was naturally a reason why he chose to open a shop in such a large building materials market. The building materials market could be considered a profiteering industry. Simply speaking, every home's renovation required latex paint, flooring, bathroom, doors, windows, and lamps. Which one wasn't profitable with a small capital? Especially the bigger the brand, the more ridiculous the price. Although these building materials bosses made money, there were many times when they were short of funds. After all, the manufacturer's rebate was at least a year's worth of sales. Therefore, in a year, it was impossible to count on the retail sales of the house to make money. The only way to make money was to take on large-scale projects. Even if the profits were small, they had to take on large-scale projects and sell large quantities of goods. Those who had been involved in this kind of business knew that it was not easy to settle the construction fees, especially when the amount involved was relatively large. If they didn't delay for a year and a half, they would feel that the money was too readily given. Because of this, many building material industry bosses who relied on large-scale construction sales often had cash flow problems. Although it was because of a few million yuan each time, it was impossible for them to always borrow from friends. Now, everyone knew that money made money, and no one would lend money for no reason without profit. The procedures for bank loans were troublesome, and there were quite a number of bosses who already had bank accounts, so they couldn't get a loan from the bank. Therefore, this group of so-called investment and wealth management companies that made a living by offering high interest rates were born. The emergence of this type of company did add lubricant to social and economic development in a certain aspect, but in a general sense, it was still a relatively abnormal state. Because while usury added oil and vinegar to social and economic development, it also disturbed the economic market. These were all hidden dangers. Just like the real estate bubble now, if it didn't burst, then it wouldn't. Once it did, then it would be completely over. Since Niu Hongtian opened his so-called investment and financial management company in this place, it was obvious that he had swallowed the entire local market. It could be said that he was making a lot of money by lending usury to the owners of these construction materials. Basically, more than 1/3 of the money that the owners of these construction materials earned from the construction materials had been paid to Niu Hongtian as usury interest. There was an iron cage at the entrance of Hongtian Investment and Wealth Management Company. A brutal grey dog was raised in it. Usually, when it saw people, it would bark fiercely, with a posture that wouldn't stop until it tore people into pieces. But today, it was very quiet, especially when Su Yun passed by the iron cage. This usually vicious dog actually curled up into a ball like an obedient cat, hiding in the corner of the iron cage. Niu Hongtian was puzzled. His dog was a famous vicious dog in the building material market. If he took this dog out and walked around the shop owners who didn't pay back the money due, they would be scared to death. But today, it was like a sick person. It wasn't until Su Yun's figure disappeared from its sight that the grey dog regained a bit of its spirit. Dogs were definitely more intelligent than humans. Just like in many legends, it was said that dogs could see unclean things. Dogs could also easily feel a person's pressure and aura. Although Su Yun's invisible pressure was hidden deep, as long as he didn't release it, ordinary people certainly wouldn't be able to feel it. But the dog could feel it very clearly. There was a story, saying that when a person returned home, there was always a dog barking at him at the entrance of the village. In a fit of anger, he killed the dog and ate it. The next day, when he returned home, he found a shadow in his house. The shadow said to him, "Thank you for helping me kill the dog and giving me the opportunity to eat you." Niu Hongtian didn't notice anything unusual about the vicious dog. After he entered the door, he sat on the sofa and put his feet on the coffee table. The man next to him immediately took out a cigarette and lit it for him. "Boss Niu, you brought us here in the middle of the night. What business do you want to talk about?" Su Yun smiled slightly. "If you have something to say, just say it." Niu Hongtian pointed to the seat next to him and said, "Sit down. After sitting down, let's talk slowly." He also ordered the man, "What are you waiting for? Go and get some water." Su Yun and Little Northeast sat down. Little Northeast was even more curious about what this guy wanted to do. "Brother, you ruined my business tonight and cut off my money. Shouldn't we talk about this?" Niu Hongtian said, "Although I, Niu Hongtian, am not a calculative person, you should at least give me an explanation. Otherwise, I won't be able to explain myself in front of my brothers." Su Yun went straight to the point and said, "At this point, it's impossible to turn back time. Boss Niu must have a way to deal with this. Otherwise, you wouldn't have brought me here, right?" Niu Hongtian smiled, "Well brother, you're really a smart person. Then I'll say it directly. For tonight's matter, you cut off my money, and I sent you to the police station. Then, we're even." Then, Niu Hongtian's tone changed, "But, I got you out, so you owe me a favor. If you want to be even, I'll give you a chance to be even." Chapter 793. He Niu didn't expect Su Yun to be so straightforward. He couldn't keep up with the rhythm. "Good. You're a straightforward person. I'm definitely going to be your friend. I won't beat around the bush. You broke my money, so you have to help me earn it back. I'll give you a choice to cooperate with me. Do you see my company? I don't need much. You just need to invest 20 million, and I'll return you 3 million every year. How about that? Ha ha, Boss Nyo, you must be joking. The interest you're giving me is too low, right? Su Yun, an investment of 20 million isn't a small amount. I know very well what you do. You're a loan shark. If you give out 20 million in your hands, it'll become at least 40 million a year. You're only giving me 3 million? Do you really think I'm a 3-year-old kid? When Nyo Hong Tian heard this, he was unhappy at first, but he immediately realized that Su Yun might be a guy who knew the business. This might not be a bad thing for him. At least, it meant that this guy had money in his pocket. That was enough. Anyway, Nyo Hong Tian didn't plan to return the money he invested. How much do you want? Nyo Hong Tian said lightly, Brother, you're also a person who knows the business. I won't play with you. 20 million. I'll return you your capital in 3 years. After that, I'll give you an additional 20 million in interest. How about that? Double in 6 years. That's a bit too slow. Su Yun still shook his head. 3 years. I can consider it. Brother, you're a bit too greedy. Nyo Hong Tian said, I see that you're knowledgeable, so I'm saying this to you. You can't be like those small people in society. They really think that loan sharks can double in 2 or 3 days. If that's the case, this business can't be done. I have already given you the conditions that I can give you. Now, either you agree or you give me another condition that will allow me to forgive you for what you have done tonight. Otherwise, I am afraid that I will not be able to control this group of brothers under me. While they were talking, more than a dozen strong thugs started to move their limbs. These people were obviously professional thugs, and they were not on the same level as those gangsters who pretended to be traffic police at night. Therefore, Nyo Hong Tian was full of confidence. These hired thugs had been fighting with him for many years. Every time there was a debt that could not be collected, as long as these dozen of them made a move, there was nothing that could not be settled. Moreover, these guys were heavy-handed and black-hearted. They did not hesitate to shoot people. Basically, all of them had murder cases on their hands. There were some things that one had to admit. The more vicious a person with a murder case was, the more popular they would be in Lunan. Nyo Hong Tian liked to recruit such people. As long as you gave them enough entertainment and guaranteed that they wouldn't be caught and sent to jail, then they would really dare to risk their lives when doing things. The soft were afraid of the hard were afraid of the unreasonable, and the unreasonable were afraid of those who did not care about their lives. He Nyo's tyrannical nature in Lunan was not the reason why he was able to gain a foothold. It was because he had a group of thugs who did not care for their lives. Therefore, even if Nyo Hong Tian knew from his underlings that these 2 people in front of him could fight, he was not afraid of them. This was because he believed that no matter how good they were at fighting, they would not be able to fight against his underlings who dared to risk their lives. I heard that Boss Nyo and the Emperor of Lunan are sworn brothers. If Boss Nyo can pull some strings for me and let me meet Wang Long Huang, not to mention 20 million, even 50 million is not a problem. Su Yun squinted his eyes. His smile was so harmless. Nyo Hong Tian's face fell. What do you mean? You want to use Wang Long Huang to pressure me? I don't dare to do that. I just want to get to know this big boss of Lunan's bandit city. Su Yun said, I don't know if Boss Nyo has this connection. Kid, who do you think the emperor is? You can get to know him just because you want to? Nyo Hong Tian said, I brought you here not for you to talk about conditions with me. Let me ask you one last time. This money, are you going to invest or not? Don't talk to me about other things. Su Yun shrugged his shoulders. I already said my conditions. If Boss Nyo can't do it, then I really have no interest in cooperating with you. Big brother, why are we still talking nonsense with them? These 2 kids won't give up until they reach the Yellow River. Today, we must teach them a lesson. The uniformed man who was beaten black and blue by Little Dong Bei would not let go of this opportunity for revenge. He wanted to beat them up now and let them have a taste of looking for their teeth on the ground. Nyo Hong Tian glared at him. The underling beside him did not dare to speak any more. He raised his hand, and the underling on the left put a short-barreled shotgun in his hand. "Do you know what this is?" Nyo Hong Tian pointed the shotgun in his hand at Su Yun's head without hesitation. "Brother, do you know what this is?" When Little Dong Bei saw this, his heart jumped to his throat. When he came out, he made a military order to ensure Su Yun's safety. "If you have the guts, point that thing at me." Su Yun was much calmer. He knew very well that what Nyo Hong Tian wanted was not life, but money. "Boss Nyo, you have to think clearly. If you pull the trigger, don't talk about 20 million, you won't even get 20,000 yuan of investment. We are all people in society. We go out for money. For things like murder, the fewer the better." Nyo Hong Tian finally realized that he had underestimated this young man in front of him. This guy's boldness was not something an ordinary person could compare to. Su Yun slowly raised his hand and used 2 fingers to hold the barrel of the shotgun. He slowly moved the shotgun away. "Boss Bull, I'm not a patient person. I just want to ask you one last time. Can you bring me to see Wang Long Huang? Can you, or can you not?" No matter how weak Nyo Hong Tian was, he was still a black bull that went on a rampage in southern London. He originally wanted to threaten the other party, but now he was caught by the other party. Where would he put his face? Nyo Hong Tian's face darkened. It seemed that if these 2 brats were not taught a lesson, they would not know the immensity of heaven and earth. The group of thugs around him also prepared themselves. "Do it," Su Yun suddenly ordered. In addition to the shotgun in Nyo Hong Tian's hand, the other party also had 2 Type 54 pistols. In this situation, Su Yun knew that it was necessary to strike first. After all, they were indoors and the space was small. These factors were advantageous to them. When Little Dong Bei received the order to flip one person over, Su Yun also used a grappling move to smash the Type 54 pistol in one of the gunman's hands. Immediately after, before the second pistol could be aimed at him, he used a swift and violent kick to flip the second guy holding the Type 54 pistol. The 2 pistols fell to the ground. Little Dong Bei no longer had any scruples. His fist was strong enough to kill a wild boar. One punch could almost break the bones in the opponent's face. Chapter 794. Nyo Hong Tian watched as the thugs that he was so proud of were all defeated within a minute. Furthermore, the other party dealt with them with a single blow. Those who dared to risk their lives had their cheekbones smashed with a single punch. After their legs were broken, they were no different from cripples. Other than lying on the ground unconscious, they could only complain incessantly. In his anger, Nyo Hong Tian couldn't control his emotions. He raised the short-barreled shotgun in his hand again and aimed it directly at Su Yun's head. He roared, "Do you believe that I won't shoot you? The person who dares to behave atrociously in my territory hasn't been born yet." Su Yun smiled slightly and shook his finger at Nyo Hong Tian. "Boss Nyo, next time you point the gun at others, check if it can still be used. Don't hurt yourself after pulling the trigger. Otherwise, the loss will outweigh the gain." Nyo Hong Tian was stunned. He just realized that the barrel of the shotgun in his hand had been crushed flat. Just now, only Su Yun used 2 fingers to touch the gun. Who was this guy? His strength was so terrifying that it made one's hair stand on end. It wasn't that Nyo Hong Tian hadn't seen people with such terrifying strength before. Lu Nan's son, Wang Long Huang, and his subordinate, Black Tiger Luo Xing, were such fierce people. Their strength in all aspects was completely beyond the imagination of ordinary people. They were so strong that they weren't even on the same level as his thugs. Nyo Hong Tian's brain buzzed. He finally realized that the 2 people he was facing were real experts of the underground world. They were the kind of people that he wouldn't want to provoke no matter how unreasonable or ruthless he was. "Boss Nyo, everyone says that harmony breeds wealth. You just have to meet with weapons. Su Yun pulled a chair and sat in front of Nyo Hongtian. Isn't it good to talk things out? Why do you have to make such a big fuss? Brother. I've offended you. I know I'm wrong. Please give me a chance. Nyo Hongtian no longer had the arrogance of the past. I'll change whatever you say. I'll change everything. I won't do it again. Trust me this time. Su Yun waved his hand. As the saying goes, a dog can't change its habit. I don't expect you to change your character. I still have the same condition. Can you take me to see Wong Long Huang? The big gangsters in South London must have some relationship with Wong Long Huang. Otherwise, they wouldn't be able to live so comfortably. Nyo Hongtian was one of them. Although on the surface, outsiders thought that he was glorious and was the sworn brother of the Emperor Long Huang. But in reality, only he knew. In front of Wong Long Huang, he was nothing more than a lowly grandson. Wong Long Huang liked to be worshipped and revered, so he had to act like a slave, flattering and fawning on others in order to maintain his position as the Black Ox Great Hoodlum. Only Wong Long Huang had the right to summon him. How could he have the guts to ask Wong Long Huang for help? To tell you the truth, I'm nothing in front of him. I really don't have that ability. Nyo Hongtian looked like he was about to cry. Brother, please understand me. I'm just a gangster in your eyes. I really don't have any abilities. Su Yun scratched his head unhappily. In that case, there's no point in keeping you. Nyo Hongtian was stunned. What did he mean? Lil Dongbei, give him a quick death. Su Yun nodded. Lil Dongbei rubbed his palms and walked forward. He really dared to kill him. Anyway, people like Nyo Hongtian who bullied men and women deserve to die. He didn't deserve to be pitied. Don't. Nyo Hongtian quickly waved his hand and begged for mercy. I'll think of a way. I'll definitely think of a way. Give me a chance. I'll think of a way to let you meet the Emperor. Su Yun raised his hand and signaled Lil Dongbei to stop. His goal wasn't to take Nyo Hongtian's life. Boss Nyo, I knew you wouldn't let me down. Then I'll have to trouble you to arrange it. It's 10 p.m. now. I'll give you an hour to think of a way. This is the biggest concession I can make. An hour? How can this? Nyo Hongtian was dumbfounded. Su Yun didn't say anything. Lil Dongbei rubbed his palms again. Brother Yun, this old man isn't honest. I think we shouldn't talk nonsense with him. Don't. There's a way. Nyo Hongtian's head nodded like a chicken pecking. Every week on this day, Wong Long Huang will go to Old Xing's nightclub to visit a girl named Lan Xing. She's number 185, the star of Empire's nightclub. Tonight at 11 p.m., Wong Long Huang will definitely go to the nightclub and ask for her number. As long as you go there and wait for him, you'll definitely see him. Su Yun was stunned. There was still an hour. How long is the journey from here to the nightclub you mentioned? There's less traffic at night. 20 minutes is enough. It's at Wanshan West Road. It's called Empire's Nightclub. Nyo Hongtian said, if you need, I'll send you there personally. How do you want me to believe you? Su Yun smiled faintly. If you randomly pick a place and we go there empty-handed, I'm afraid it won't be so easy to find you later, right? Nyo Hongtian pointed at himself. Do you think we dare to deceive you now? Brother, I'm already at this point. I just want to save my own life. Su Yun saw a roll of tape on the table in the corner. He gestured for little Dongbei to get it. Boss Nyo, this is our first time working together. We haven't established a relationship of mutual trust. You have to understand me. I'll leave you here first. If I go there and really see Wong Long Huang, I'll come back and let you go. Little Dongbei got the tape and tied Nyo Hongtian to the chair like a dumpling. After the tape was used up, Nyo Hongtian was like a mummy, unable to move at all. Lend me your car first. Su Yun smiled. I've just arrived in London and I'm already acquainted with Boss Nyo. It's really a lucky thing. Hee hee, as for the investment you mentioned, I'm sorry. I really don't have that much money. Although my car is expensive, I didn't buy it with my own money. I'll give you a saying. Those who can't afford to drive a luxury car are definitely not rich, but those who can drive a luxury car are not necessarily rich either. Don't look at people like a little girl who hasn't experienced the baptism of society. You're so shallow. Nyo Hongtian still wanted to fight for some power for himself, but little Dong Bei stuffed his mouth with a rag. He could only make woo 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 sounds. No one could understand what he was saying. Thank you for today. After Su Yun finished speaking, he walked out of the finance company's door with little Dong Bei. After the vicious dog in the iron cage saw Su Yun and little Dong Bei come out, it obediently lay on the ground and whimpered pitifully. Su Yun glanced at little Dong Bei. You really scared the dog with the smell of a wild boar. You should control yourself in the future. Little Dong Bei was confused. Really? Brother Yun, why do I feel like this dog is secretly looking at you? The person it's afraid of shouldn't be me. I'm not some evil person. What does this have to do with me? I'm so handsome. Why would it be afraid of me? Su Yun rolled his eyes at little Dong Bei. I've only eaten Tibetan Mastiff hot pot once in my life. I don't usually eat dog meat. Chapter 795. Su Yun and little Dong Bei drove Nyo Hongtian's 7 Series BMW, turned on the GPS, and directly found the nightclub called Empire Night on Wanshan West Road. It was 12 kilometers away from the destination, and 20 minutes was enough to get there. Su Yun drove unhurriedly and asked little Dong Bei to check if there was any cash or something like that in the car. As soon as little Dong Bei opened the storage box in front of the passenger seat, he saw more than a dozen bundles of cash. It was probably the interest that Nyo Hongtian had just collected today, and he hadn't had time to take it out of the car. Of course, in the eyes of such a big gangster, more than 100,000 yuan was pocket money. I was worried that I didn't have the money to call a prostitute when we go to the nightclub. Now I don't have to worry. Su Yun smiled and said, Today, I'll take you to see what the bright and colorful world is. I'll let you see how lively the nightlife of these corrupt people is. It's too corrupt. Our Hua Xiao's crackdown on pornography and illegal activities is not thorough enough. These people always have a loophole. Little Dong Bei found that in addition to the cash, he also found 2 boxes of Durex, ultra-thin and floating point. He took them out and showed them to Su Yun. Brother, let's take this with us. No matter what, we have to pay attention to hygiene, right? Su Yun directly hit little Dong Bei's head. I'm just making fun of you. Do you really think I'm taking you to the nightclub for fun? Throw it back. Little Dong Bei scratched his head resentfully and muttered, You said it like it's true. Didn't I prepare it for you? I'm not that kind of person. So I'm that kind of person? F***CK. Su Yun raised his hand again and hit little Dong Bei's head. Think of something healthy in your head. Who do you think your brother Yun is? No matter what, I'm still a person who won the Best Youth Award. In the room, Nyo Hongtian pricked up his ears as much as possible and listened to the sound of the engine gradually fading away. When he was sure that the car was completely gone, he began to cry for help from the thugs who were beaten next to him. However, his men were all knocked out, and none of them responded. None of these fellows were pretending to be unconscious. They were all lying down. Nyo Hongtian had no other choice. He wriggled his body like an earthworm and inched closer and closer to the coffee table. In the entire room, the sharpest thing he could think of was the edge of the marble coffee table. He was glad that the other party didn't find any rope in the room. Although the number of wraps around the tape was enough and it did have a lot of binding power, its abrasion resistance was still a little lacking. Nyo Hongtian didn't need to work so hard to grind an iron pestle into a needle. He only needed to break the tape. Today's matter was not over. Just now, he had no choice but to tell Su Yun and the others about Wang Longhuang to protect himself. If Wang Longhuang knew about it in the future, he would definitely not have a good time. He had to hurry up and contact Wang Long Huang before Su Yun and the others met with Wang Long Huang. He had to tell Wang Long Huang what had happened. Only then could he plead Wang Long Huang to give him a chance to correct his mistake. After all, he still had to spend his days in the land of southern London. Everything he had was here. If he offended Wang Long Huang, he would really be finished. Relying on his inner conviction, Niu Hongtian grinded harder and harder. Even though his wrists were in pain, he didn't care about it. 20 minutes later, Su Yun and the others had already parked their car in the parking lot in front of the Empire nightclub. This nightclub was really big. Little Dong Bei, who had never been to such an occasion, was only left with astonishment. In the parking lot, Accord, Passat, Mercedes-Benz, Audi, and so on were all low-class cars. People's living standards were getting higher and higher. Su Yun couldn't help but sigh. Those who could afford to live in a house and drive a luxury car didn't lack money to enrich their spiritual life. This large nightclub had become a good place to pass the time. Accompanying clients, discussing business, and making cooperation. Now, if one wanted to do something, how could he not come to such places to spend money? Su Yun asked little Dong Bei to bring the 100,000 yuan from Niu Hongtian's car with him. Then, the two of them swaggered into the Empire nightclub. At the entrance of the hall, there were 8 beautiful ladies in cheongsam standing on the left and right. They greeted in unison, "Good evening, sir. We wish you a pleasant night." The moment they entered, they would make you feel that it was worth it even if you spent 30 or 20,000 yuan. "Sir, please come in." The receptionists who came to serve them were all beauties. This nightclub was probably the most high-class nightclub in the whole of southern London. Otherwise, Wang Long Huang wouldn't have taken a fancy to it. "Let's find a place to drink and sing. We'll find a few ladies to accompany us." Su Yun swaggered inside. Little Dong Bei, who had 100,000 yuan on him, followed closely behind. Under the guidance of the receptionist, the two of them came to a dimly lit room. The receptionist gestured for them to order drinks. Su Yun ordered a drink set that was 18,000 yuan. Then, the receptionist gestured for them to wait for a moment. The ladies would be here soon. Then, she turned and left the room. About 2 minutes later, the manager in charge of this area knocked on the door and walked in. He waved his hand outside the door. More than a dozen ladies filed in and stood in a row in front of Su Yun and little Dong Bei. "Good evening, two gentlemen." This polite bow made little Dong Bei feel that they didn't look like girls who would do such a thing at all. The manager smiled and said, "Sirs, these ladies are all brand new. There are university students, cashiers, and part-time workers. They are all very clean. I wonder if the two of you are interested in them?" Little Dong Bei thought, "Oh my God. I really didn't know that the society under the cover of night had such a dark side. I didn't expect that there would be ladies who were so dignified and reserved in front of acquaintances who could be so open and slutty in front of strange men at night. Can we order the brand directly?" Su Yun asked. The manager nodded. "Of course, he. It seems that the two of you are also our ladies' regular customers. Then, let number 185 come over." Su Yun didn't intend to curry favor with them. He asked the manager for a membership card that could give him a 2% discount in the future. He wouldn't patronize often. Let them go. When the ladies heard that they were customers who wanted the brand, they tactfully turned and left the room. The manager was stunned for a moment. Then, he said to the two of them embarrassedly, "I'm sorry. The two of you may not know, but number 185 is not available tonight." "Why? Are you afraid that we can't afford it?" Su Yun waved his hand. Little Dong Bei directly took out a stack of money and quickly took out more than a dozen bills. He stepped forward and stuffed them into the manager's jacket pocket. "I told you to call them. Just do your job well." The manager smiled awkwardly. He took out the money and returned it with both hands. "Gentlemen, it's not that I don't want to serve you well. It's because there are already customers who have made reservations. Number 185 is going to accompany them at 11 o'clock, so Chapter 796. Su-Yun smiled. We don't need her to accompany us for too long. Half an hour, $50,000. We just need to drink and chat. You can ask her. If she's willing to come, I'll give you another $2,000 as a tip. Manager, I think you can arrange this easily, right? Haha, this might be the easiest 2,000 yuan you'll earn in your life. Just say the word. The manager thought for a moment. Little Dong Bei urged, if you don't hurry up, the 2,000 yuan will be gone. We won't delay the guest she's accompanying at 11 o'clock. Just half an hour. Okay, then I'll help you call her over. If she doesn't come, then I can't do anything. The manager said uncertainly. If you can't find her, you'll have to return the 1,000 yuan I gave you earlier. Little Dong Bei said, there's no such thing as a free lunch in the world. 3,000 yuan is equivalent to an ordinary office worker's monthly salary. Manager, you don't want to miss out on such easy money, right? The manager nodded vigorously. Okay. Please wait for a moment. I'll try my best to persuade her to come over. Then, let's agree. Just half an hour. She has to leave at 11 o'clock because the guest she's accompanying at 11 o'clock is someone we can't afford to offend. Even our chairman Xing can't afford to offend him. We're all businessmen. We know how to keep our promises. Don't worry. Su-Yun, bring her here. Take the 2,000 yuan and leave. Tell her that she's only accompanying us for half an hour and the 50,000 yuan is hers. Okay, I'll do as you say right away. After the manager finished speaking, he turned around and quickly left. It was rare to see such easy money, and it was rare to see such generous customers. Usually, there were generous customers who would tip him, but at most, it was 100 yuan. The purpose was for him to find a beautiful girl to bring in for them to choose from. The money he earned today was equivalent to a month's worth of tips. Little Dong Bei was a little uncertain. Can he bring her here? Look at him. He definitely knows who that girl is accompanying at 11 o'clock. Money makes the world go round. Su-Yun. In order to earn that 2,000 yuan tip, he will definitely persuade that girl. Also, the price we offered to that girl is not low. 50,000 yuan for half an hour. How big is the company that can make such a high income? She's just sitting on the sofa and drinking a glass of wine. How can she not do that? The power of money was absolutely enormous. 5 minutes later, the manager appeared in Su-Yun's private room with a girl whose looks and figure could be considered to be of the highest quality. Sirs, I've brought him to you. The manager smiled and kept rubbing his hands together. Little Dong Bei knew what he meant. He went forward and gave him 2,000 yuan. Then, he told him to close the door and leave. Brothers, you're really generous. The girl sat beside Su-Yun without any restraint. She held onto Su-Yun's arm and said, let's make it clear first. Let's drink and chat. Even if you want to hug, kiss, and touch me, it doesn't matter. But I can't accompany you to do bad things. Su-Yun, you're called Lan Xing? The girl was stunned. She looked at Su-Yun in surprise. How do you know my name? Su-Yun nodded. That was right. He had never been to this nightclub. No matter what, he had to confirm whether this girl was really number 185. Judging from her reaction, it shouldn't be wrong. That manager didn't play any tricks. I can read faces. Su-Yun smiled slightly. I can see it. Lan Xing didn't believe this. She looked up and down at Su-Yun with a puzzled gaze. Did someone send you to test me? Test you for what? Su-Yun didn't understand and shook his head. I'm just a customer who came here to drink and have fun. Little Dong Bei didn't understand why Su-Yun did this, but he knew that Su-Yun must have his reasons, so he didn't say much. This 18,000 drink set was a bottle of Royal Salute, plus a luxurious fruit plate and a few bottles of drinks. It was really evil. Although the money was taken from Niu Hongtian's car, Little Dong Bei still felt distressed. He sat aside and ate the expensive fruit. Then do you want me to drink with you or sing with you? Lan Xing generously unbuttoned a button on his chest. I know that since you're willing to pay $50,000 for half an hour of my time, you're definitely not satisfied with just drinking and chatting. Don't be restrained when you want to do something. We're all here to have fun. There's no need to be so restrained. Su Yun smiled helplessly. Yes, 50,000 for half an hour just to drink and chat. It's really not worth it. But if I don't do this, I'm afraid the person I want to see won't take the initiative to come to me. Lan Xing's eyes widened in surprise. You want to see me that much? Who? Handsome, you can't be saying that you fell in love with me, right? He. I won't be friends with a boy who knows that I'm in this line of work. Because even if you love me, knowing that I'm in this line of work will leave a shadow in your heart. Su Yun shook his head. You misunderstood. The person I want to see is not you. Lan Xing was silent for a moment, then she said with suspicion, Are you crazy? You said the person you want to see, is it? Yes, I know that in half an hour, Wang Long Huang will come here to accompany you. That's why I asked you to accompany me. When he can't find you, he will naturally come here to find me. Su Yun smiled slightly. He didn't seem to be joking at all. Lan Xing immediately stood up. If you want to die, I won't accompany you. Do you know who Wang Long Huang is? If you offend him, you're courting death. I won't accompany you to do this kind of thing. He said that every week on this day, I can't sit with any guests and wait for him to patronize. If he knows that I come out to accompany guests before he comes, he will definitely kill me. Little Dong Bei blocked Lan Xing's way. Our Huaxia is a society ruled by law. He can't do whatever he wants. You two are simply crazy. Lan Xing said. Everyone knows that he's the son of Lu Nan. In Lu Nan, whatever he wanted to do, there was nothing he couldn't do. A society ruled by law? Humph. A society ruled by law is also built under the sun. Outside of the sun, do you know how dark and scary it is? He's not the ordinary person you think he is. Su Yun was still sitting on the sofa calmly. Maybe we're not the ordinary people you think we are. Lan Xing panicked and looked at Su Yun with pleading eyes. Big brother, I beg you to let me out. I still have parents who are seriously ill at home. They are waiting for me to earn money and send it back to treat them. I really don't want to die. I beg you, just take pity on me. That's what all the girls say. Can't you make up a new story? Little Dong Bei shook his head helplessly and sighed. Chapter 797. Lan Xing shook her head vigorously. If you really don't want to live, there's no need to drag me down with you, right? I didn't make up a story to lie to you. Do you think I want to be a prostitute here? Do you think I'm willing to ruin myself? I really have no choice. I only hope that one day, I'll earn enough money and leave this damned place of London forever. Please don't disturb my life, okay? What illness do your parents have? Su Yun asked. There was still 20 minutes to 11, so he wasn't in a hurry. My father has kidney failure and needs a kidney transplant. My mother has stomach cancer. Last year, half of her stomach was removed, but this year, she found out that there's a problem with her heart and needs a heart bypass surgery. As Lan Xing spoke, she lowered her head deeply and clenched her hands slightly trembled. I'm like the jinx of my family. Now, I only hope that they can get better. I really have no choice but to do this. Little Dong Bei frowned and still didn't believe. It's that bad. You're too cruel in making up stories. Even so, it's not like you're not pretty. You can find someone with money and conditions to marry. That way, won't you have the money to treat your parents? Hearing this, Lan Xing's face revealed a cold smile. In today's society, how cold people are. I've seen a lot of them. I also want to find someone to marry. Find someone with some financial power who can provide medical conditions for my parents. If there really is such a person, I'll be willing to be an ox or a horse for the rest of my life to serve him and his family. But do you think people nowadays are all so kind? The men who have come into contact with me only like my appearance. Once they know that my parents are seriously ill, they'll hide as far away as possible. No one wants to add more burden to themselves. If you find a rich man, I'm afraid he won't care about the money for medical treatment, right? Little Dong Bei still didn't understand. No matter what, living with one person is better than living with so many men in this kind of place, right? Forget it, forget it. I'm just listening to you. You're pretty good at making up stories. Why don't you go to 17K novel website to write a novel? Maybe it'll become popular. Su Yun raised his hand to signal for little Dong Bei to stop talking. I don't think she's making up a story for us to hear. Lan Xing was stunned. She suddenly raised her hand and stared at Su Yun with wide eyes. She never expected anyone to really believe her story, because in the industry she was in now, most of the young ladies would make up the same story. Over time, this was no longer pitiful. Instead, it became a joke among the customers. No one would take it seriously. Whoever did would be too inexperienced, and they would definitely be ripped off by the young ladies. Even Little Northeast, who was visiting such a place for the first time, didn't believe it. He often saw such reports on the news, but Su Yun actually believed it? This puzzled little Dong Bei. He stared at Su Yun with wide eyes. Brother Yun, don't tell me you really believe him? If her hands weren't trembling when she talked about her parents, I definitely wouldn't have believed it, Su Yun said lightly. But now, I believe it. In your line of work, perhaps many people have suffered because of these tragic reasons. Otherwise, who would be willing to ruin their own body? Lan Xing saw that Su Yun believed her, so she begged, "Then I beg you to let me out. Otherwise, when the emperor arrives, I really can't explain it to him. I beg you, I don't want your money. Is that okay? As long as you let me leave here, after the emperor leaves, it doesn't matter how you want me to accompany you, okay?" Su Yun could only shake his head apologetically. Of course not, because if you leave, Wang Long Huang won't take the initiative to come to us. His people aren't good people. I don't want to have friction with the people around him before I meet my future ally. That will only reduce his trust in me. I don't know what you're talking about, but all this has nothing to do with me, Lan Xing said. No matter what, I have to leave. If you continue to stop me, I'll call for help. I suggest that you don't do that, Su Yun said. Little Northeast walked in front of Lan Xing. I'll give you the same suggestion. You have two choices. First, you sit quietly on the sofa and wait. Second, I'll find something to tie you to the sofa. If you want to call for help, believe me, before the people outside here, I'll have already sealed your mouth. Lan Xing really didn't understand why she was involved in this kind of headache-inducing matter for no reason. She really didn't have a choice. Someone who even dared to offend the Emperor of Lunan was obviously not someone to be trifled with. She didn't want to offend them. It seems that Wang Long Huang will give you a lot of money every time he comes, Su Yun said. Have you earned enough for your parents' surgery fees? Lan Xing wasn't in the mood to chat. She just nodded silently. Although I earned enough for the surgery fees, I still need a lot of money to pay for their subsequent hospitalization and nutrition fees. I still need to work here for a while. Su Yun nodded. Then have you ever thought that if you want to leave, but Wang Long Huang won't let you go? Lan Xing shook her head. It seemed that she really didn't want to talk. Su Yun was tactful and did not ask further. After all, they were the ones who had not been kind enough. However, there was really no way to resolve the matter. He nodded at little Dong Bei and gestured for him to pass the money to her. Little Northeast also pitied this girl. He took the initiative to change the agreed 50,000 to 60,000 and put it in front of Lan Xing. To be honest, this was definitely the easiest tens of thousands of yuan that Lan Xing had earned in her life. But the psychological pressure was so great that she didn't know how to bear it. Actually, it's not as complicated as you think. Su Yun, as long as your parents' surgery is successful, their biggest wish is to have their daughter by their side. Stop as soon as possible. The temptation of this industry is too great. If you don't get out early, you'll only sink deeper and deeper. Find a proper job. As long as you work hard, you can also raise a family. To be honest, Su Yun's words touched Lan Xing. No man had ever been so considerate for her. My brother is doing this for your own good. Little Northeast said, leaving Lunan is definitely the best choice. Go to a place where no one knows you and find a motivated young man to get married. Then, forget everything that should be forgotten. Get married. Lan Xing didn't dare to think about it. Ever since she decided to do this industry, she had never thought about it. She didn't want to carry so much guilt for the rest of her life. Bang, bang, bang. After a series of urgent knocks on the door, the manager ran in. The first thing he did when he entered was to say to Lan Xing, "Number 185. Hurry up and get out. The Emperor is here." After that, he explained to Su Yun and Little Northeast, "I'm sorry, it's been half an hour. Hee, the guest that we made a reservation before has arrived." Chapter 798. Change your mind? The manager widened his eyes and said, "Two bosses, you can't do this. Really, listen to me. I'm doing this for your own good. Do you know who booked her? If you know, you won't say that." Su Yun smiled and poured 2 glasses of wine. "It's because I know who it is that I have to do this. I've long wanted to see the Emperor of Lunan. Manager, you won't refuse to give me this chance, right?" Shock. Other than shock, there was still more shock. The manager would never have guessed that this was a show. The 2 young people in front of him really didn't care about their lives. They could have offended anyone, but they just had to go against Wang Long Huang. Wasn't this playing with their lives? If it wasn't for the fact that he was given 1,000 yuan, he really wanted to say to them, "If you don't seek death, you won't die. If there's nothing else, then I won't send you off." Su Yun smiled very calmly. He didn't look scared at all. The manager knew that there was no point in talking nonsense. He looked at Lan Xing and then turned to leave. Something was probably going to happen tonight. Before the manager went to explain to Wang Long Huang, he quickly dialed his boss's number. He had to inform him of this matter first. "Director Xing, something bad has happened. Number 185 is privately accompanying a guest today. Now that the Emperor has arrived, the guest is not letting him go." Of course, he had to shirk his responsibility first. Otherwise, he would be the one who had to bear the consequences. Boss Xing on the other side of the phone was furious. After cursing for a while, he hung up and rushed over as fast as he could. "Emperor, you're here." The manager in charge bowed and ran forward. His face was full of flattery and flattery. "You must be tired from sitting in the car. Do you want me to arrange an old Chinese doctor to give you a massage?" Wang Long Huang was almost 40 years old. However, his dressing made him look at least 5 years younger than his actual age. Because of the influence of the entire family in Lunan for so many years, he had a natural arrogance in his bones. It wasn't an exaggeration to say that he was the Emperor of Lunan. The way he looked at people was no different from how he looked at slaves. Right beside Wang Long Huang was his most trusted right-hand man, Black Tiger Luo Xing dressed in black. He coldly said, "Enough nonsense. Let number 185 serve him. You don't have to worry about anything else." Yes. Brother Hu. The manager in charge nodded. But there is something I want to explain to you." Luo Xing was stunned. "You have something to explain to me? What do you mean?" "Big Brother Hu, this way please." The manager in charge acted as if he was treading on thin ice. Fine beads of sweat appeared on his forehead. "I still have to ask Big Brother Hu for help with this matter." Luo Xing frowned. "You really don't know your place. Is the Son of Heaven's matter more important than your own? Settle Tianzi first, then tell me if there's anything else. You don't know what's good for you." The manager's legs turned to jelly. Once Luo Xing got angry, he couldn't stand still. However, he still had to say what needed to be said. It seemed like the 4,000 yuan wasn't that easy to earn. Tianzi, brother Hu, number 185. Luo Xing grabbed the manager's collar and lifted him up. You've been in this business for so long. Didn't old Xing tell you the rules? You even dared to let number 185 accompany other guests tonight. I think you must have eaten a bear's heart and leopard's guts. Do you want to die early so that you can meet your ancestors? Brother Hu, I'm wrong. Listen to me. I didn't arrange this. I couldn't stop it, right? The manager in charge was so scared that his face turned yellow. Tianzi, you're a magnanimous person. Please give me a chance. I beg you. Where is she? Wang Longhuang, on the other hand, appeared to be much calmer. He didn't know when, but he had an inexplicable hobby. He liked these young ladies from outside. No matter how beautiful they were, if he took them as his mistress, he would get sick of them in less than a week. It was as if the wildflowers were more fragrant than the flowers at home. He liked the ladies from outside, but there weren't many of them. The only ones he liked were the blue planet of Empire Nightscape. Of course, if he liked them, Boss Xing of Empire Nightscape would definitely keep them as his mistress and serve him alone. However, Wang Longhuang knew that once that happened, he would lose interest. He didn't ask old Xing to do that. He only asked the girl not to accompany other guests one night a week. After she was clean, she would wait to accompany him. In this way, 3 months had passed. Wang Longhuang was still full of interest. Then, this became an unwritten rule. Number 185, Blue Planet, couldn't accompany other guests to drink on this night every week. She had to wait until 11 p.m. to serve Wang Longhuang alone. Of course, the money Wang Longhuang gave her made her willing to do that. It was 50,000 yuan a night every time. Say it. Luo Xing said to the manager. The manager hurriedly told Wang Longhuang the number of the private room Su Yun was in. Before he could continue to beg for mercy, Luo Xing directly threw him away. With a loud bang, the manager's lumbar spine hit the edge of the coffee table in the lounge area at the side of the hall. The tearing pain made him unable to get up. If his lumbar spine was broken for 3,000 or 4,000 yuan, it was really not worth it. However, this was the result. The more he thought about it, the more scared he felt. The manager stood up with the help of the other waiters. He found that he couldn't move his legs at all. Sweat dripped down his forehead. Was he really finished? If so, he would have to spend the rest of his life in a wheelchair. Luo Xing was the one who threw him. Who could he find to reason with? Even if his teeth were broken, he could only swallow it in his stomach. Luo Xing walked in front with large strides. Wang Longhuang followed behind him unhurriedly. At this moment, his phone rang. It made him somewhat impatient. Hello. Brother, it's me. The crying voice on the other side of the phone sounded as if his father had died. Niu Hongtian, what's wrong with you? Why can't you say it during the day? Calling me now, don't you know that I hate to listen to phone calls at this time? Wang Longhuang was somewhat impatient. If you have something to say it quickly. Brother, don't go to Empire nightclub today. There are 2 guys who want to harm you. Niu Hongtian said loyally. I was almost killed by them. They trapped me, took my car and went to Empire nightclub. Brother, they are all masters, very powerful masters. My people are like ants in front of them. They have no power to resist at all. Wang Longhuang suddenly stopped. Are you telling the truth? Seeing Wang Longhuang suddenly stop, Luo Xing also stopped and looked back at him. Yes, it's absolutely true, Niu Hongtian said. I just got rid of the bindings with great difficulty. The first thing I did was to call you. Pa Wang Longhuang hung up the phone without waiting for Niu Hongtian to claim credit. He said to Luo Xing indifferently, go to the parking lot outside and see if Niu Hongtian's car is there. Chapter 799. Lan Xing sat quietly in the private room. Neither Su Yun nor little Dong Bei had any intention of touching her. This made her feel both gratified and sad. Gratified because these two made her realize that there were still good men in this world. The sad thing was that such a good man would definitely think that she was dirty and would never touch her. Su Yun glanced at the time from time to time. The manager had been out for 5 minutes. If he guessed correctly, Wang Longhuang should have appeared, right? But so far, Su Yun hadn't seen any signs of someone coming. Could it be that the manager took a few thousand yuan and convinced Wang Longhuang to leave? This was far too different from Su Yun's imagination of Wang Longhuang's personality, right? Brother Yun, do you want me to go out and take a look? Little Dong Bei couldn't sit still anymore. If he leaves, wouldn't we be wasting time waiting? Seeing that Su Yun didn't stop him, little Dong Bei got up and prepared to go out and take a look. Just as little Dong Bei walked to the door of the private room, Su Yun suddenly felt a strong murderous aura outside the door. He exclaimed, "Dodge." Although Su Yun notified little Dong Bei immediately, he was still a step too late. The door was kicked open by a strong force and slammed into little Dong Bei's body. Although little Dong Bei raised his arms in time to block, he still couldn't block the force and was sent flying. Lan Xing was scared out of her wits when she saw this scene. She curled up in a corner of the room and didn't dare to make a sound. Su Yun got up and stood in front of little Dong Bei and Lan Xing to prevent little Dong Bei from getting hurt again. Little Dong Bei's resistance was really good. His whole body was slammed into the wall, but he could still stand up. However, the feeling of his bones falling apart wasn't very good. F***ck. Little Dong Bei spat. It wasn't that he hadn't seen anything during this period of time with Su Yun. He had also fought with Lang Chen, an expert of the profound world realm. However, he had to admit that the force he felt this time was the strongest. Su Yun had already seen the person who appeared at the door. This also declared that the plan he wanted to discuss was completely ruined. The person at the door was Wang Longhuang's right-hand man, Black Tiger Luo Xing. He appeared, but Wang Longhuang was not beside him. Clearly, the other party did not come here to talk to him. "Not bad, you can endure it." Luo Xing coldly spoke. "If you are tired of living, I can send you all on your way." "You're Luo Xing." "Su Yun, I didn't come to Lu Nan to cause trouble for you. He just wants to meet the Emperor, the Dragon Emperor, and talk about something that interests him." Luo Xing's face was still gloomy. "I am Luo Xing. I can tell you that the thing that Tianzi is most interested in right now is to see those who offend him die." As soon as he finished speaking, Luo Xing pounced on Su Yun with the evil tiger leaves the mountain. That fist wind was biting cold, without the slightest intention of showing any mercy. He started with a killing blow. Su Yun did not dare to be careless when a super expert started with a killing blow. Even though he had already broken through to the Master Realm, his state of mind was still unstable. He still had to be careful. When Luo Xing's consecutive killing blows were blocked by Su Yun, Luo Xing realized that he had met a strong opponent. He did not dare to be careless anymore. Someone who dared to have designs on Wang Longhuang in Lunan was definitely not a nobody. "Who are you guys?" Luo Xing asked cautiously. Su Yun did not want to make his relationship with Wang Longhuang too tense. The first thing he wanted to do was to try his best to avoid a fight. "Who we are is not important. You only need to know that I'm not here to go against you guys. I just want to cooperate with you. Luo Xing, I know that you're a 9th stage super expert, but I can tell you clearly that you're not strong enough to win against me." Of course, Luo Xing was aware of this situation. Otherwise, he would not have stopped. The other party had made it so clear. Obviously, he was telling him that his state of mind was above the Master Realm. Luo Xing did not dare to underestimate this. Although the strength of the guy who was sent flying by him when he opened the door was not that abnormal, from the reflection of his defense, he was definitely not weak. He already had no chance of winning against a master in the Grandmaster Realm, let alone 2 masters at the same time. Even if I'm not strong enough, if you guys want to make a move on Tianzi, you'll have to step over my dead body first." Luo Xing sneered. I've said it before. I'm not here to cause trouble. Su Yun emphasized again. If I'm not wrong, you guys should really want to know the whereabouts of Miao Dao and Hu Lai, right? A trace of surprise flashed across Luo Xing's eyes. Those two traitors have always been a headache for the famous Tianzi of Lunan. Su Yun, Luo Xing, it's not that I can't beat you, I just don't want to fight with you. I hope that you can tell Wang Longhuang that if he wants to know the whereabouts of the two traitors that he can't tolerate, I'm willing to cooperate at any time. Luo Xing narrowed his eyes and was very puzzled. Then what's your purpose? My purpose is the same as yours. If you guys are not willing to cooperate, then there's no need to know. Su Yun, I'm here today to wait for Wang Longhuang, I have no ill intentions. But now, it seems that he's probably already left? Luo Xing did not answer, nor did he deny it. All right, I'll pass on your words. Since we've already met, I believe that with your influence in Lunan, it won't be hard to find me again, right? Su Yun, there's no need to leave any contact details, right? Humph. Luo Xing swung his hand and turned to leave. Little Northeast rubbed his stifled chest and said unwillingly, Brother Yun, you're letting him go just like that? That kick just now was for nothing. That guy was too ruthless, right? If it wasn't for the good quality of the door, I reckon that a few of my ribs would have been broken. Su Yun smiled slightly. You're good, not bad. Black Tiger is a 9th level super expert. His strength is only a little lower than mine. Even if Pigeon was here, I'm afraid that she wouldn't be his match. But I don't understand why such a person would willingly submit to Wang Longhuang. Looks like Wang Longhuang isn't just a guy with strong strength. Brother Yun, do you think they'll contact us? Little Northeast asked. What if they find trouble with us again? If Wang Longhuang is a person with a brain, he won't do this. Su Yun, within 2 days, they'll definitely find us to have a good talk. This is the reason why I let Luo Xing go. If we touch his people, I'm afraid that we won't be able to sit down and have a good talk. Little Northeast nodded. I understand. Being rash isn't the way to solve problems. Su Yun looked at the door that Luo Xing kicked open. If you don't want to pay, then let's hurry up and leave. Little Northeast shook his head like a rattledrum. He really didn't want to pay. After all, he wasn't the one who kicked open the door. Wait a minute. Lon Xing suddenly spoke. She pointed at the $60,000 that Little Northeast gave her. You guys really don't want this money? But you're tuning in to the Narrate and Escape YouTube channel. Don't forget to subscribe and join us on this journey to catch the most captivating stories.